Chapter 1196, Gifts for the Major Factions, 1. Hee. This time, we'll let them know how powerful we are. Fengde said with a smirk. Yes, Fengde. Go and prepare yourself. We're going to welcome our guests. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. All right, miss, I'm going out. After Fengde finished speaking, he turned around and left. 2 days later, all the major forces in the Nightmare Forest had gathered. Not only that, but the Wen family, Fan family, Yao family, Cheng family, Ning family, and Qi family from the 8 god domains had all sent people here. The other forces also seemed to see them as the leaders. The various forces gathered in groups of 3 to 5. There were also those who hated each other and opposed each other at first sight, such as the Wen family and the Fan family. The arrival of the Ascender Alliance seemed to have raised this disharmonious atmosphere to a new height. After they set up their tents in the encampment chosen by the various forces, the familiar forces began to chat with each other. The purpose of their conversation was nothing more than how to deal with this matter. After all, the Nightmare Forest originally had no owner, and anyone could come as they pleased. Now that it was occupied, how could they accept it? It was like something that didn't cost any money suddenly belonged to someone else. Even if one didn't want it, one would feel extremely unbalanced. It was because of this imbalance that they came here together. Qi Rui was the head of the Qi family's representative in the Nightmare Forest. However, he was not here to condemn anyone, but to congratulate them. Naturally, the Ning family had the same intention as him. Ning Fei came in person. Except for the first elder who stayed in the main house, almost all the other elders of the Ning family came. They came here to congratulate and also to meet the ancestor of the Ning family. However, they didn't head straight for Lung Ruoxue and the others' residence. Instead, like the other major factions, they set up a simple camp in the forest. The Qi family and the Ning family's bases were next to each other, so the people of the 2 families were now gathered together and chatting. Why did Master Ning come in person? Qi Rui looked at Ning Fei in confusion. He more or less knew about the Ning family's situation, and he was also clear that Lung Ruoxue had something to do with the blood reformation of the Ning family. Could it be that Ning Fei came here personally because of this? My family's old ancestor is here. Of course I'm here. Ning Fei said nervously. He was afraid of his serious ancestor, but he wanted to be treated differently by his ancestor. Therefore, he was very conflicted. Master Ning hasn't left the godly mainland yet? Qi Rui said in surprise. When Master Ning had sent people to take Ning Rong and the others away, the Qi family had thought that Master Ning had already returned to the divine world. Please reading on Aboxenu. No, he's always been with Miss Lung. I'm afraid that Miss Lung's decision to make the Nightmare Forest her territory has caused public anger. Ning Fei said worriedly. However, with the great ancestor's support, those forces would not dare to make things difficult for Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue wouldn't be afraid. Although he had not spent much time with Lung Ruoxue and the others, he was well aware of their fearless nature. Some of the forces that came today would probably not be able to return. There's nothing to be afraid of about Miss Lung. Old Grand Madam will definitely support her. Ning Fei said. He thought that Qi Rui said that Lung Ruoxue wouldn't be afraid because of their ancestor, so he couldn't help but agree. Master Ning, you've misunderstood. Even without your Ning family's old ancestor, Lung Ruoxue and the others won't be afraid. Qi Rui explained. That's true. If Miss Lung was a timid person, my family's old ancestor would not have accepted her as his goddaughter. Ning Fei sighed. How good would it be if he could make the old ancestor see him in a different light? Unfortunately, the thought of meeting the ancestor made him extremely nervous. Goddaughter? When did this happen? Qi Rui's eyes widened in disbelief. The Ning family's elder, who was not easy to get along with, had actually taken Lung Ruoxue in as his goddaughter. They had not heard of this at all back in Qi City. I don't know. Ning Fei was also confused. He didn't dare to inquire about this matter. Otherwise, the old ancestor would definitely eat him. As the 2 of them were chatting, they suddenly heard a few loud sounds. They looked up at the same time and saw a few people fighting not far away. From the clothes of the people in the chaotic battle, they should be from the Wen and Fan families. Seeing this, Qi Rui and Ning Fei didn't think much of it, because they knew very well that these two families had never liked each other. Sometimes they might maintain a friendly relationship on the surface, but in private, they often fought. But this time, they actually started fighting in front of so many forces. It must be a big deal, Qi Rui and Ning Fei secretly guessed at the same time. Very quickly, the people who were in conflict were pulled apart by the people from their respective families. However, those people still glared at each other. Who allowed you to fight without permission? The sixth elder of the Wen family who was leading the group glared at his own junior with a face full of anger. Damn it, they actually fought in public. The Wen family had lost all face. Sixth elder, the Fan family has gone too far. They've actually stolen our prey. A young man from the Wen family said indignantly. Who stole your prey? We were the ones who got it first. The man from the Wen family had just finished speaking when someone from the Fan family immediately retorted. We saw it first, the man from the Wen family shouted. Who can you blame if you didn't see it? Don't you know the rules? Of course, it belongs to whoever hits it. A member of the Fan family said with a proud expression. Sixth elder, the Fan family has gone too far. Don't stop us. We must teach them a good lesson. The Wen family was enraged by the Fan family's provocation. Have you all forgotten why we came to the forest? I didn't bring you here to cause trouble, so you'd better behave. The sixth elder roared in anger. In the face of his might, the Wen family did not dare to speak. At this time, the elder leading the Fan family team also said with a smile, Hee, as one of the 8 great divine regions, we should help each other and fight against a common enemy. How can we fight among ourselves first? Chapter 1197. Gifts for the Major Factions, 2. Yup. We can't use internal coaxing. Someone immediately echoed. Their purpose for coming here was naturally to discuss Lung Ruox's matter of marking the Nightmare Forest as her territory. There was a tacit understanding between the various factions. This time, they had to use pressure to chase Lung Ruoxue and her group out of the forest. This forest belonged to everyone on the godly mainland. How could it become a private territory? It must be known that their respective families would send people here almost every year to gain experience and obtain a lot of resources from the forest. Therefore, none of them were willing to let this natural treasure house become the territory of any one force. This was a serious violation of the interests between them, and it was not allowed by the major forces. With the help of the elder of Fan family and the agreement of the others, the people who were in conflict with the two families had to calm down. Although they were all unwilling, no one dared to doubt the words of their elder. However, what they did not know was that their every move in the forest was within Lung Ruox's grasp. In the living room of the Lung family's main residence, Lung Ruoxue sat on a chair and chuckled as she explained what had happened in the forest to the crowd. Instantly, the crowd burst into laughter. Miss, they're clearly here to cause trouble for us. However, they're coaxing us before they even see us. It's really too funny. Feng De said with a smirk. He had prepared some gifts for those forces in the forest, but he didn't know if they could take it. He didn't want to die before he even saw them. He would be very disappointed. Those forces are all gathered together because they have a common interest. Of course, their hearts are not united. However, this is more beneficial to us. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. This time, she intended to kill the chicken to warn the monkeys. However, she had to choose the chicken carefully. It couldn't be someone from the 8 great divine regions. After all, she didn't want to have too big of a conflict with the 8 great divine regions yet. Moreover, the other party's power couldn't be too small. Otherwise, it wouldn't be enough to serve as a warning to the monkeys. Who should she choose? Lung Ruoxue was conflicted. Lung Ruoxue was in a dilemma. However, the various factions in the forest had also received their first gift from Feng De. The various forces, forest encampments. It was time to prepare dinner, and some forces had already started to eat. Suddenly, a buzzing sound entered everyone's ears. What's that sound? Everyone raised their heads in unison and couldn't help but ask each other. However, no one could give them an answer. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. Master Ning, do you recognize this voice? Chi Rui asked Ning Fei in a low voice. There were naturally many poisonous insects in the forest, but the sound was like that of bees, so he was not sure. It should be a bee type. Master Ning said hesitantly. In fact, it was normal for bees to appear in the forest, but the sound was still far away. However, the buzzing sound reached their ears, so it could be imagined how many bees there were. I think we should make early preparations. Chi Rui reminded. Yes. Ning Fei nodded, and then he gave the elders a look, and they immediately became alert. Not long after, the buzzing sound got closer and closer, and everyone's hearts were on tenterhooks. In the blink of an eye, everyone saw a dark cloud in the sky flying towards them. Heavens! They're poisonous bees, and there are so many of them. All the major powers were dumbfounded when they saw the tens of thousands of poisonous black bees. Although they had a lot of people, no one was confident that they would not be hurt by these poisonous bees. Moreover, there was more than one type of poisonous bee, and even the most powerful black queen bee was among them. The timid ones were already trembling in fear. Quickly eat the antidote pill. At this time, someone shouted. When everyone heard this, they quickly took out an antidote pill from their storage rings and quickly stuffed it into their mouths. Although they didn't know if this antidote pill would be effective against the poisonous bees, it was better than nothing. As for the poisonous bees nearby, after seeing their actions, they didn't immediately attack, and even gave them enough time to eat the detoxification pills. However, everyone was a little too nervous, so no one noticed the abnormal behavior of the bees. After they finished eating the antidote, the swarm of bees officially began their attack. In an instant, everyone present was surrounded by the swarm of bees. There were at least 1,000 poisonous bees around each person, and those who had never seen such a scene before immediately fainted from fear. Even so, the swarm of bees did not let them go. After the thousands of poisonous bees stung them, they flapped their wings and flew away with a look of disgust. The Qi clan and Ning clan members were treated differently by the swarm of bees. Although they were surrounded by many poisonous bees, these bees did not take the initiative to attack them, but instead stared at each other. Even so, the Qi clan and Ning clan members were extremely nervous and looked at the swarm of bees surrounding them with vigilance. Master Ning, did the bees attack you? Chi Rui, who felt that something was wrong, couldn't help but transmit his voice. No, they didn't attack you? Ning Fei couldn't help but ask. He couldn't help but wonder, what the hell do these bees mean? They surrounded him but didn't attack him. Could it be that they wanted to have a mental battle? However, the situation in front of him was indeed quite frightening. Since the bees were not attacking, he did not dare to act rashly. He did not want to anger the bees, and the consequences would be more serious. At the same time, Ning Fei sent a message to his elders to ask about their current situation. The answer he got was that the bees didn't attack, which made him confused. But he didn't forget to remind the elders that if the bees didn't attack, they shouldn't attack first, or it would be bad if more bees were attracted. The bee colony glared at them for a while before flapping its wings and flying away. Master, what's going on? The Ning family's elder was so puzzled that he was about to frown. I don't know. Ning Fei was also confused. Could it be said that they had good character? Master Ning, let's not think about this for now. Let's think about how well explain it when others ask. Chi Rui reminded. So many people had been stung by the poisonous bees, and they were the only ones safe and sound. It would definitely arouse suspicion. Chapter 1198, Gifts for the Major Factions, 3. What's there to explain? We have a good character. Others can't be envious of us. Ning Fei said disapprovingly, huff. He wanted to see who would dare to question him. Master is right, we have a good character. As soon as Ning Fei finished his words, some elders immediately agreed, and the other elders also nodded in agreement. Looking at the proud faces of the Ning family, Chi Rui couldn't help but feel a few black lines slide down his forehead and couldn't help sighing. This Ning family, from master to elder, was a little too narcissistic. This has nothing to do with character, okay? However, Since the Ning family felt that it was because of his good character, then they would use this reason for the time being. As for whether others believed it or not, it was none of their business. After the bees finished their sting, they flew away as if they had completed their mission. Apart from the Ning clan and Qi clan, the rest of the people present were all covered in wounds and were in a terrible state. Their faces were covered in countless red spots of different sizes, and many of them had even fainted because their cultivation was low, unable to resist the corrosion of the poison. "Why are you all fine?" The elder of the Yao family couldn't help but roar in anger when he saw Ning Fei, Qi Rui, and the others were perfectly fine. This was really infuriating. They had all been stung beyond recognition, but the people of the Ning family and Qi family were fine. How could he not be envious and jealous? Ning Fei and Qi Rui looked at each other, sharing the same thought. The troublemaker had indeed come. However, the two of them were prepared and said in unison, "We have good character. You can't be envious of our character." As soon as the two finished speaking, not only was the Yao family elder angry, but almost all the major forces were angry. In an instant, the people who had been stung less by the poisonous bees all gathered in front of the Ning family and Qi family's encampment and stared at them with unfriendly expressions. "Do you think we will believe your nonsense? Those poisonous bees must be related to you. Otherwise, why didn't they sting you? Why did they sting every one of us?" The Yao family elder shouted at the top of his lungs as if he was afraid that no one else could hear him. "Elder Yao, what do you mean?" Ning Fei asked in confusion. "Are those poisonous bees under your control? Ning Fei, what is your purpose? Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're the leader of the 8 great divine regions. Let me tell you, with our Yao family here, don't even think about hiding the sky with one hand." The Yao family elder said indignantly, "Elder Yao, have you been stung silly by the bees? It would be great if I could control those poisonous bees." Ning Fei couldn't help rolling his eyes. "That's right. If we can control the bees, your Yao family will be our first target." An elder of the Ning family also said with disdain, "What did you just say? If you say that you're not the ones controlling it, then how do you explain the swarm of bees?" The Yao family elder pressed on. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. "Elder Yao, you're asking us, but who should we ask? We also want to find out. Why don't you call those bees back and interrogate them yourself?" Another elder of the Ning family sneered. Since Elder Yao Wu suspects that we're colluding with those bees, well, personally capture those bees and interrogate them. It's good to prove our innocence." Qi Rui laughed evilly. "You're clearly in cahoots with him." The Yao clan elder repeated angrily, his face red with anger. "Why don't you show us how you're colluding?" Qi Rui said expectantly. He wanted to have those poisonous bees as his subordinates, but unfortunately, the queen bee would not recognize a master. The 5th elder was so angry that he couldn't say anything. The others didn't dare to say anything either, because they all knew that the bees didn't belong to anyone. It was only the 5th elder of the Yao family who was so aggressive because of his jealousy. However, the fact that the Yao family dared to provoke the Ning and Qi families didn't mean that the others would agree. They didn't have the courage to do so, not to mention that only the Yao family had spoken. The Cheng family and the other families of the 8 divine domains, who had also suffered, didn't say anything, so they naturally didn't need to offend the Ning and Qi families like the Yao family. "Elder Yao Wu, on the account that we all belong to the 8 great divine regions, don't blame us for not warning you. Hurry up and treat your injuries. Otherwise, if the bees come back, you'll be in deep trouble." Qi Rui said with a smile. "Young Master Qi, are you cursing us?" The 5th elder of the Yao family said loudly. "I'm just reminding you. If Elder Yao Wu insists on treating my good intentions as a curse, then just pretend I didn't say anything." Qi Rui said nonchalantly. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone heard a buzzing sound again. Their faces turned pale and they were all panicking. "He's really here. What do we do?" Someone said in fear. "What are you afraid of? Can't we deal with those poisonous bees with so many people?" The 5th elder of the Yao family bit the bullet and rebuked. "We really can't deal with it." Someone mumbled softly, and his words were the same as everyone else. If they could deal with it, would they still be stung? Who is it? Who said that? The fifth elder of the Yao family said angrily. As soon as he finished speaking, the swarm of bees that had left and returned instantly arrived in front of him. In the blink of an eye, the fifth elder was surrounded by the dense swarm of bees. When the others saw this, their faces turned pale with fear. Some of them even pretended to faint. However, no matter what their reactions were, the swarm of bees did not intend to let them go. After stinging them again, the swarm of bees swaggered away. The bees are definitely with you. The Yao family's fifth elder, who had been stung all over his head and body, hatefully said, "Elder Yao Wu, even though we sympathize with you, you can't wrong us like this." Qi Rui said with an aggrieved expression. This time, the bees left and returned, and the one who was stung the most was the fifth elder of the Yao family. However, he did not sympathize with him at all. Instead, he was gloating. It would be good if the sting was more vicious. That's right. Elder Yao Wu, are you sure you want to blame your misfortune on us? Ning Fei asked with a smile. Chapter 1199. Gifts for the Major Factions, 4. The Yao family's fifth elder was taken aback by their question. In truth, he didn't really want to blame it on them. It was just that he felt unbalanced when he saw that the people from both families were unscathed. Everyone, I hope that all of you can make your own judgments and not be affected by others. Also, don't forget that we have always been with you. How can we collude with the bees? Besides, have you ever heard of anyone who can control bees? Qi Rui rolled his eyes at the fifth elder and said to the others, "This is simply impossible." The fifth elder of the Yao family must have gone mad with anxiety. Someone heard Qi Rui's words and quickly tried to smooth things over. Your injuries are not light, and it's already night time, when the poisonous insects in the forest are the most active. So, everyone quickly heal your injuries. Qi Rui kindly reminded again. As for whether or not people would not appreciate it, that was not within his scope of consideration. After hearing Qi Rui's words, everyone became anxious. They couldn't be bothered to watch the show anymore and quickly took out their best antidotes and ate them. However, their antidotes couldn't completely remove the poison from the wasps. Everyone's face was still red and swollen, but it wasn't a big deal. After spending the night in fear, the swarm of bees that they were so afraid of did not bother them anymore. The next day, the various major forces could not wait any longer and began to search for Leng Ruoxue and the others. They had come here with the intention of launching a surprise attack to catch Leng Ruoxue and the others off guard. However, they did not know the exact location of Leng Ruoxue and the others. Hence, they could only wander around the forest like headless flies. However, after searching for a day, they did not find anything. Hence, they could only return to the encampment. After dinner, everyone went to bed early. Midnight. The people who were not sleeping well were woken up by the rustling sound. However, when they opened their eyes, they almost fainted from fear because they were surrounded by giant spiders. Each of them was the size of a millstone, and their lantern-like eyes were staring at them. They clearly saw them as prey. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. The screeches reverberated in the forest. These spiders were more disgusting than the poisonous bees, and they were more terrifying. When the Qi family and the Ning family heard the scream, they quickly came out of their tents. The people from the two families looked at each other, curious about what those people had encountered. What happened? Qi Rui quickly asked when he saw someone running out of the tent. Spider! A giant spider! Help me! When that person saw the Qi family and Ning family, he ran towards them, and there were several large spiders chasing after him. Qi Rui, Ning Fei, and the others were a little unhappy when they saw that the man had actually led the spiders to their side. However, they were still prepared to fight. Who knew that those big spiders actually ignored their existence and only chased after their target? They didn't even look at Qi Rui and the others. Seeing this, Qi Rui and the others had no choice but to let down their guard. It wasn't that they didn't want to save him. It was the spiders that ignored them. Qi Rui and the others couldn't help but think. However, the things that had happened in the past 2 days had been too strange. Whether it was the poisonous bees or the poisonous spiders, they had all turned a blind eye to them, which made them suspicious. However, at this moment, they did not link the strange incident that they had encountered to Lung Ruoxue. This was indeed not Lung Ruoxue's fault. In the bracelet, Lung Ruoxue and the others, who had a panoramic view of everything through the light screen, all laughed out loud. Ha! What an unlucky fellow! Let's see if they still dare to be smug now. Feng De said with a gloating expression. He was extremely satisfied with the gifts he had prepared for them. I wonder how many of their forces will dare to wander around in this forest after tonight. They'll wait and see. Lin Yuan also said. You little guys are really too bad. You can't even play with people like this. Although Lung Qingshan's mouth was filled with disapproval, his expression was one of joy. In truth, he wished that these people would stay in the forest forever. However, he could not say this out loud. Otherwise, Feng De and the others would be too proud. We were wrong. We should have just let them die. Feng De and Lin Yuan immediately admitted their mistakes. Chapter 1200, Tragic Forces, 1. It's not a bad idea to just let them die. Lung Ruoxue nodded. I'll make the arrangements immediately. Feng De was very anxious. Lung Ruoxue nodded and immediately placed Feng De into the bracelet. In fact, Feng De and Lin Yuan's words had reminded her. She had wanted to kill the chicken to warn the monkeys, but she had not chosen a suitable organization as a target to warn the monkeys. If the various large organizations suffered countless deaths and injuries before meeting them, it would attract even more people and make them understand the danger of Nightmare Forest. Hence, Lung Ruoxue had decided to change her strategy. At this time, the various major forces in the forest were still unaware of the kind of danger they were facing. If the previous fight was just a small fight to scare them, then what they were about to face was the threat of death. The appearance of the giant spider made the people of the various forces who were already on tenterhooks even more frightened. Some people even thought of leaving the forest because this place was simply too terrifying. Actually, it wasn't like they had never been here before. It was just that they had never felt so dangerous before, and they hadn't been able to sleep well for the past 2 nights. After the giant spider retreated, everyone sat on the ground dejectedly. Some people's faces were still pale, while others were still trembling. They all looked listless and their clothes were in tatters. What do you two have to say now? The 5th elder's face was livid. He looked at Qi Rui and Ning Fei, who were safe and sound, and shouted angrily. Elder Yao Wu, are you trying to say that we are in cahoots with those giant spiders? Qi Rui joked in a good mood. Isn't it? Everyone can clearly see why those spiders are only chasing us and not you. Isn't that enough to explain the problem? The 5th elder of the Yao family roared loudly. His words were meant for everyone to hear clearly that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. Elder Yao Wu, I'm sorry. You'll have to ask those giant spiders about this. We really don't know them. Qi Rui said with a smile. However, his smiling face was an eyesore to the 5th elder of the Yao family. Did you guys hear that? He's clearly trying to shirk his responsibility. The 5th elder of the Yao family had learned his lesson this time and directly asked the people behind him. However, everyone was currently in a very low mood. No one was interested in accompanying him to cause trouble for the Ning and Qi families, so his words did not receive any response. I'm asking you a question. Are you all deaf? Seeing this, the 5th elder couldn't help but roar. Fuck, these cowards are really driving him to his grave. Can't someone echo his words? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but glare at his own clansmen. However, the people of the Yao family all lowered their heads. No one dared to look at him. Seeing this situation, the 5th elder was even angrier. 5th elder of the Yao family, now is not the time to talk about this. Let's think about what we should do. If this continues, I'm afraid we'll be dead before we can even find Lung Ruoxue and the rest. At this moment, the elder leading the Chung family's group spoke up. His face even had a trace of dissatisfaction towards the 5th elder of the Yao family. This old thing actually said that they were all deaf, which was preposterous. In fact, they just didn't want to cooperate. After all, they didn't want to offend the Ning and Qi families. More importantly, the Yao family's relationship with people had never been good, so they naturally didn't need to be on the same side as the fifth elder. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. The Cheng clan's first elder is right. Now isn't the time for internal strife. We should think about how to face the upcoming crisis. I have a feeling that things won't be so simple, so we must take early precautions. Ning Fei agreed with the first elder of the Cheng family and chuckled. He said that because he wanted everyone to understand that they were on the same side and had the same goal. Those poisonous bees and spiders won't bite you, so what are you afraid of? The fifth elder of the Yao family said unhappily after hearing what Ning Fei said. Elder Yao Wu, you really don't know what's good for you. Of course I'm not afraid, I'm thinking for you guys. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but don't influence other people's thoughts. Ning Fei warned, and his words were clearly meant for the others. Sure enough, after hearing Ning Fei's words, everyone present glared at the fifth elder of the Yao family with a bit of hostility. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He said that those poisonous bees and spiders were with the Nings and the Kais, and no one was cooperating with him. Now, with just a few words from Ning Fei, they all changed sides. What the hell was this? And the reason why he believed that everyone had switched sides was because he had never thought that they were not related to him in any way, nor did they have any deep friendship with the Yao clan, so why would they cooperate with him? Everyone, let's first discuss our countermeasures. Otherwise, if there are more poisonous bees or giant poisonous spiders, I don't think anyone can stand it. Ning Fei was very satisfied with the effect he had caused and smiled. Can we back out now? Whoever wants to occupy this forest can do so. We don't want to stay here any longer. The leader of a small force was the first to speak. His face was unusually careful, afraid of offending the others. However, at this moment, there was more than one family that had the same idea as him. Although they were all small forces, they were still a significant force when added together. However, other than one family, the other forces were all watching. What did you just say? I dare you to say that again. The Yao family's fifth elder glared at the person who spoke and fiercely said, Elder Yao Wu, be gentler. Don't scare her. Ning Fei said with a smile. We want to withdraw. We won't participate in this matter anymore. That person repeated in a low voice. They were only a small force and their strength was low. Therefore, even if this forest was not occupied by others, the benefits they could obtain from it would be limited. Thus, he felt that there was no need for them to lose their lives here. This place was really too dangerous. No. If any of you dare to back out, I'll kill you right now. The fifth elder of the Yao family refused, and the veins on his aged face bulged. Elder Yao Wu, since they want to withdraw, why force them? This is a matter of mutual consent, so don't think that just because you're a member of the Yao family, you can look down on those small forces. Qi Rui fanned the flames at the side, and his words resonated with some forces that wanted to withdraw. Chapter 12:01 Tragic Forces 2 Young Master Qi is right. Although we are a small force, we also have our dignity. We just know our own limits. So, Elder Yao Wu, please don't threaten us. Otherwise, we would rather destroy you than let you have an easy time. Compared to us, Elder Yao Wu's life is more precious. Someone in the crowd chimed in. However, the person who spoke was hidden in the crowd, so the fifth elder had no idea who the person was. Who is it? If you have the guts, get out here and don't hide. Hearing this, the fifth elder of the Yao family was completely enraged. Unfortunately, no one responded to his words. Elder Yao Wu, calm down. With your fiendish look, who would dare to come out? Ning Fei comforted her with a smile. Then, he said to the people present, the forest is full of danger. It's only been 2 days and we've already encountered so many poisonous bees and spiders. We can't say what will happen next, so if you want to leave, leave now. Don't lose your life here, it's not worth it. Ning Fei's words hit the nail on the head of quite a number of people. In an instant, many forces expressed their desire to quit. None of you are allowed to back out. Otherwise, I'll kill you right now. The fifth elder of the Yao family threatened again. Don't worry about him. If you want to leave, then leave quickly. Ning Fei looked at the fifth elder of the Yao family with a faint smile and said to the small forces who wanted to quit. With his words, the small forces looked at each other and immediately packed up their things and left. Although it was night time and it would be dangerous to walk in the forest, they felt that no matter how dangerous the road back was, it would be safer than being with them. Moreover, they had all left together. The forces that had backed down at the last minute accounted for almost 1/3 of the people present. As for those that remained, other than the people from the 8 great divine regions, there were also some of the larger powers like the Ascender Alliance. However, although they did not give up, their attitude towards this matter was no longer as high as before. After discussing the countermeasures, everyone decided to take a short rest. After all, they had been busy the whole night and were all exhausted. However, the number of people left behind to keep watch at night had doubled. It was clear that they were still afraid. The highly nervous forces wandered in the forest for another 2 days. After they found nothing, they were more or less annoyed. The fifth elder of the Yao family was so angry that he cursed all day long, and the Yao family became his most unlucky punching bag. For the past 2 days, the group had to search for Lung Ruoxue and the rest during the day. At night, they had to be afraid and did not dare to sleep too deeply. Hence, after 2 days, everyone's mental state was somewhat dispirited. The longer they stayed in the forest, the more depressed their mood became. Fifth elder, how long will it take for us to search aimlessly? Someone from the Yao family couldn't help but ask. You're asking me, but who should I ask? The head of the family said that we must find them. The Yao family's fifth elder said in an unpleasant tone. But we don't even know where they are. It's useless for us to just walk around in the forest, right? That person said in a low voice. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. It's because I don't know, that's why I'm looking for him. The fifth elder of the Yao family roared. Elder Yao Wu, why are you two quarreling? At this time, a teasing voice came into the ears of the fifth elder of the Yao family. He looked up and saw that it was Ning Fei. His old face immediately fell and he said in a bad mood, "This is our Yao family's matter and has nothing to do with you." Of course it has nothing to do with me. However, I'm just concerned about you. Ning Fei said with a fake smile and a face full of concern. Who needs your concern? The fifth elder of the Yao family didn't appreciate it at all. It seems that I was wrong. I wanted to say that we have a lot of food and wanted to share it with you, but I guess you won't want it. Ning Fei said with a regretful look. For the past 2 days, the other forces had been trying to find Lung Ruoxue and the others. They were not in the mood to hunt, so they could only eat dry food. The Ning and Qi families naturally did not need to be like them. Hence, the two families had hunted quite a lot of prey together. They had fresh meat to eat every day, and they had a big meal every day. This caused many people to be envious, including the Yao family. Who said I don't want it? Where was it? Give it to me. The fifth elder of the Yao family was more shameless than Ning Fei thought. Although he said he was not happy with the Nings and the Kais, he didn't hesitate when he asked for the item. I'm sorry, I don't want to give it to you again. Ning Fei said unhappily and then turned to leave. You. The fifth elder of the Yao family was so angry that his face and neck turned red. He stammered for a long time, but he couldn't even finish a sentence. When Ning Fei returned to his family's base, Qi Rue immediately went up to him and asked curiously, "How is it?" "I didn't find out anything. I didn't get along with that old thing, so I came back after a few words." Ning Fei said honestly. It turned out that sending food was just an excuse. The reason he went to find the fifth elder of the Yao family was to see what the Yao family planned. However, he couldn't hold it in anymore and came back. Do you want me to try? Qi risked. Don't go yet. I just went. If you go again, that old thing will become suspicious. Ning Fei said after thinking for a while. All right then. By the way, dinner is ready. Qi Rue reminded. Well, let's eat. Ning Fei said with a smile. These days, the two families often ate together, and their friendship had improved a lot. After dinner, the Ning family and Qi family returned to their tents as usual. To them, there was no danger in this forest, so they had a good rest these days. As for the people from the other forces, when they saw that they didn't even have any night watchmen left, they were filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. However, they couldn't afford to offend the other party, so they could only hide their anger in their hearts. That night, the major forces were attacked by the bees again. In addition to the giant spiders, there were also some poisonous scorpions. However, although they heard the movement outside, the Qi family and the Ning family had a tacit understanding and did not come out. Chapter 12:02, Tragic Forces, 3. The next morning. When the people of the Ning and Qi families came out of their tents and saw the scene in front of them, they were all shocked speechless. What was going on? In front of them, there were corpses of humans, poisonous bees, poisonous scorpions, and spiders. It was obvious that the battle last night was more intense than they had imagined because some people had died, and there were many of them. They originally thought that even if the major forces were attacked again, they would at most be poisoned like the previous 2 times, but their lives would not be in danger. However, they were wrong. The attack last night should have caused a lot of damage to the major forces. After seeing the situation in front of them, the 2 families spontaneously searched the scene. After some observation, the 2 families found that the Yao family had suffered the most losses, followed by the Wen family. Although the other forces also suffered casualties, their situation was relatively better. Elder Yao Wu, are you all right? Looking at the 5th elder of the Yao family who had wounds all over his body and face, Ning Fei tried to hold back the joy in his heart and asked with concern. After last night, no one from the Yao family who came to the Nightmare Forest survived except for the 5th elder. He couldn't help but sigh. The poisonous insects' eyes were really sharp. They could actually tell that the Yao family was not a good person. The others were all dead, leaving only the 5th elder behind. It could be seen that those poisonous insects were quite bad. I don't need your fake kindness. Of course I'm fine. The 5th elder of the Yao family said weakly. Last night, those poisonous bees, scorpions, and spiders had all attacked them as if they didn't care about their lives. He didn't know what kind of medicine they had taken. After yesterday, he was the only person from the Yao family who had come to the forest. However, he had already sent the news back to the family. It wouldn't be long before the family sent people here again. This time, his primary goal was to eliminate those damn poisonous insects. Master Ning, Elder Yao Wu must be in a bad mood right now. Let's not disturb him. Qi Rui walked over with a look of sympathy. You're right, let's go and see the others. Ning Fei nodded in agreement. Then, the 2 of them left in front of the 5th elder. Although they had left, the 5th elder of the Yao family kept staring at them with his venomous snake-like eyes. When he saw that they were all in high spirits and unscathed, the anger in his heart surged up. Suddenly, he felt a sweet taste in his throat, but he swallowed it. Qi Rui and Ning Fei left the Yao family's encampment, chatting as they walked back to their home. Master Ning, I'm afraid this old man from the Yao family also hates us. Qi Rui looked in the direction of the Yao family and said, This is very normal. The Yao family has always been narrow-minded. Even if something happens, they won't find the reason on themselves. However, I'm afraid that the other forces are also dissatisfied with us. Ning Fei said worriedly. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. You can't blame us for this. Who knew that it would be so tragic last night? Qi Rui said disapprovingly. Since they were tied to the Ning family, they didn't think that those people would dare to do anything to them even if they were dissatisfied. So, he was really not afraid. Moreover, it was not their fault that those poisonous insects refused to find them. I didn't expect that either. Ning Fei said with a frown. Master Ning, since things have come to this, we shouldn't think too much. What they will do next is what we should be most concerned about. Qi Rui reminded. Before he arrived, his grandfather had reminded him to perform well and leave a good impression on Leng Ruoxue and the others. Yes. Ning Fei nodded. After last night's incident, the major forces suffered heavy losses. However, they all sent the news back as soon as possible. In the next few days, they quietly stayed in the nightmare forest, waiting for their families to send people to help. During this time, Leng Ruoxue and the others had already made all the necessary preparations and were just waiting for the fish to take the bait. In contrast to the nervous mood of the people in the forest, Leng Ruoxue and the others were in a relatively good mood. 5 days later, the people from the various factions who had come to support them had finally arrived. However, they did not want these people to easily find a place to stay. Hence, Leng Ruoxue had specially set up a bewildering formation in the forest. In the forest, after the various factions made a few rounds in the forest, they discovered that they had been wandering in the same place. This fact could not help but make them burn with anger. Damn it, what the hell is this place? How did this happen? The fifth elder of the Yao family couldn't help but curse. He had been to this place a few days ago, and it didn't look like this. It had only been a few days, and he actually couldn't recognize it anymore. It was really infuriating. Fifth brother, calm down. If I'm not wrong, we've entered a bewildering formation. The Yao family's second elder spoke. He had some knowledge of formations, but it wouldn't be easy to break this bewildering formation. Then what do we do? The fifth elder of the Yao family asked gloomily. He knew nothing about formations. Don't worry, let me think. The Yao family's second elder said with a frown. Second elder Yao, I've heard that you're very knowledgeable in formations. We'll be relying on you this time. Chi chuckled, his face calm. Young Master Chi, I only have a superficial knowledge of formations. I can't be considered to have studied them. Moreover, it's difficult for me to get out of this maze by myself, so please don't stand by and watch. The second elder of the Yao family hurriedly said. Second elder Yao is too humble. Who doesn't know that you're the most proficient in arrays in the divine mainland? Ning Fei said with a smile. That's right. We all know that second elder Yao has the most knowledge in formations. Hearing Ning Fei's words, everyone quickly agreed. When the second elder of the Yao family heard this, his nose almost went crooked from anger. Were these people planning to be hands-off managers? This was preposterous. Second elder Yao, you can slowly observe this bewildering formation. Well, go to the other side to stay so as not to disturb you. Chi Rui said with an evil smile. Then he pulled his family members to the other open space. Before he left, he gave Ning Fei a look. Ning Fei understood and immediately followed him with the elders of his family. The others also hid to the side. In the blink of an eye, only the Yao clan members were left in the middle of the bewildering formation. Second brother, should we also go over there? The fifth elder of the Yao family probed as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Other than the second elder, the rest of the Yao family didn't know anything about formations, so they wouldn't be of much help here. He thought to himself with some apprehension. It'll break the legs of anyone who dares to leave. The second elder of the Yao family roared with a face full of anger. With this roar, all the people of the Yao family who had wanted to slack off became obedient. Chi Rui and Ning Fei couldn't help but laugh in their hearts when they saw the Yao family's cautious expressions. However, they were not members of the Yao family, so the second elder would not vent his anger on them even if he was angry. That old man was much smarter than the fifth elder. Just like that, Chi Rui and the others watched the second elder of the Yao family looking for the formation core in the maze every day while they enjoyed the good food and drinks and watched the fun. From time to time, they would also ask about the progress of the maze. However, every time they asked the second elder of the Yao family, the old man would pull a long face, obviously not liking to hear this question. A week later, everyone was still trapped in the bewildering formation. Other than the Qi and Yao families, the other powers could no longer sit still. They constantly sent people to ask the second elder about the situation of the bewildering formation. In the end, they only dared to speak after being scolded by the second elder. The second elder of the Yao family was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Other than pacing around, he didn't seem to have any good ideas. Seeing the second elder walking back and forth, Chi Rui couldn't help but whisper to Ning Fei, Master Ning, it looks like the second elder of the Yao family can't do anything about this array. I don't know how long we'll have to stay here. AI. we'll run out of food if we stay here for a few more days. Ning Fei sighed and said helplessly. He didn't know how long Miss Lung was going to keep them here. Many of them were about to break down. Don't worry, she won't let us starve to death here. Qi Rui said with confidence. Yeah, you're right. Ning Fei agreed. At this moment, someone shouted, the formation seems to have disappeared. After Qi Rui and Ning Fei heard this, they quickly walked to the second elder of the Yao family and said with a smile, Second Elder Yao is indeed proficient in array techniques. In such a short time, you've solved this bewildering array. Congratulations. Hee hee. The Yao family's second elder was rather calm when he heard their words because he knew very well that he wasn't the one who had solved the maze. It had disappeared on its own. Although he didn't know what had happened, he was smart enough to remain silent. However, some people weren't as low-key as him. When the fifth elder heard their words, he raised his head proudly and said loudly, Of course, everyone knows the second elder of our Yao family's skill in formations. Is that so? At this time, a calm voice rang out in everyone's ears. Everyone turned their heads in unison and saw a devastatingly beautiful woman standing not far away from them. Instantly, everyone was stunned. Who are you? The Yao family's fifth elder, who had regained his senses, asked with a stunned expression. Elder Yao Wu, don't you know who I am? Lung Ruoxue smiled and asked instead of answering. You're Lung Ruoxue. The second elder of the Yao family said with certainty. Second Elder Yao is the smartest. Lung Ruoxue gasped in admiration, then turned to everyone and said, I was afraid that you would get lost in the forest, so I came to welcome you. Would you be so kind? The second elder of the Yao family said with a look of disdain. He was now very sure that the bewildering formation was set up by Lung Ruoxue. Otherwise, the bewildering formation wouldn't have disappeared without a trace. Facing the enemy who had trapped them for several days, he really didn't have a good expression. Why not? I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to find me, so I came to you myself. Lung Ruoxue chuckled, her beautiful eyes glistening with tears. Everyone's hearts immediately softened. Such a stunning beauty was looking at them pitifully, which man could refuse her? Furthermore, they had imagined countless scenarios where they would meet Lung Ruoxue and the rest, but they had never expected that they would be so stunned by Lung Ruoxue. Chapter 1203, Killing the Chicken to Warn the Monkeys 1. Who knows what you're up to? The Yao family's second elder didn't appreciate it. Second Elder Yao, how could you do this? Miss Lung came to pick us up with good intentions, and you actually doubt her intentions. You're really too much. As soon as the second elder of the Yao family finished speaking, someone immediately voiced their dissatisfaction. You, don't be fooled by her beauty. She trapped us here for a few days, and now she's coming to pick us up. Anyone with a brain would know that she has bad intentions. The Yao family's second elder roared in exasperation. However, his words attracted the unkind gazes of countless people. Second Elder Yao, are you saying that the grapes are sour because you can't eat them? But that's normal. Men your age don't have any fantasies about women. Qi Rui laughed evilly. His words caused the crowd to burst into laughter, while the second elder of the Yao family was so angry that his face turned red. Second Elder Yao, I know that you have misunderstood me. I don't blame you. I'm here to welcome you with sincerity, but if you don't appreciate it, then forget it. Lung Ruoxue said disapprovingly. Miss Lung, we believe you. Upon hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, someone immediately expressed their opinion. If that's the case, then follow me up the mountain. As for those who don't believe me, feel free to do as you please. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Her smile was like 100 flowers blooming, and many people were instantly intoxicated by her beautiful smile. All right, well, go up the mountain with you. As soon as Lung Ruoxue finished, Qi Rui was the first to speak. I'll go too. Ning Fei didn't want to be left behind. When the other forces saw that the Qi family and the Ning family had made their stand, they also expressed their willingness to go up the mountain with Lung Ruoxue. Let's go. Lung Ruoxue looked at the second elder of the Yao family and said to the crowd. All right, he said. Qi Rui nodded. Following that, Those who were willing to believe in Lung Ruoxue decided to follow her up the mountain. However, just as they were about to leave, they were stopped by the second elder of the Yao family. None of you are allowed to leave. Have you all forgotten why we are here? The second elder of the Yao family couldn't help but question. Second elder Yao, we've come here to solve the problem. We've only been here for a few days and all the forces have already suffered heavy losses. Therefore, we really don't want any more accidents to happen. Isn't it better for both sides to come to an agreement than to fight and kill? Qi Rui said with a smile, and his words made the other forces nod their heads. The things that happened in the forest these few days had indeed reduced the thoughts of the major forces to question them. Therefore, they only asked for their own interests to be guaranteed. As for whether the forest really had an owner, they no longer cared. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. The major forces have indeed suffered heavy losses, but your Qi family and Ning family have not suffered any losses. May I ask young Master Qi why this is? The second elder of the Yao family questioned coldly, his face filled with dissatisfaction. Second elder Yao, I've already answered the fifth elder's question. You can just ask him, I won't repeat it. Qi Rui said calmly. Why should I ask him? I'm asking you. The second elder of the Yao family was extremely angry. A junior actually dared to be so arrogant in front of him. It was truly preposterous. I have no comment. Qi Rui said indifferently. You dare to talk to me like this? The second elder of the Yao family roared in disbelief. Second elder Yao, please be clear that I am not a member of the Yao family. Whatever status you have in the Yao family has nothing to do with me, so please don't use your status to pressure me. Qi Rui said in a neutral tone. That's right. What kind of skill is it to use your identity to suppress others? Someone in the crowd muttered softly. It was soft, but it was loud enough for everyone to hear. Hee, second elder Yao must be tired from the past few days. Young Master Qi, please forgive him. Ning Fei smiled and tried to smooth things over. Well, for the sake of Master Ning, I won't argue with him. Qi Rui nodded. The two of them echoed each other, angering the Yao family's second elder so much that his face alternated between red and white. His entire body trembled continuously, and he was unable to speak. However, even so, Qi Rui and Ning Fei did not intend to let him go. The two looked at each other, and then Ning Fei said, Young Master Qi, it seems like second elder Yao knows he's wrong. It's best to correct one's mistakes. Second elder Yao, I forgive you. Don't be so agitated, just stay calm. Qi Rui played dumb. Second elder Yao is too excited. I don't have time to deal with you now. Let's go. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. Seeing the Yao family being provoked, her mood was much better. Yes, let's go. Qi Rui and Ning Fei nodded. Then the crowd left with Lung Ruoxue. Second elder Yao, what should we do? A middle-aged man who had remained at the same spot could not help but ask. Most of the factions had left with Lung Ruoxue. Although they wanted to leave with her, they did not dare to act rashly due to the Yao family's presence. After all, their own families had to rely on the Yao family. What can we do? Of course, we'll follow them. Second elder Yao glared at the man who spoke and said in an unpleasant tone. He didn't want to go up the mountain with Lung Ruoxue, but that didn't mean that he wouldn't follow. Furthermore, they were here to question them. If Lung Ruoxue used her beauty to win over all of them, it would be a huge loss. Second brother, they're going far away. Let's go. The fifth elder of the Yao family urged. Why are you so anxious? Don't forget who you are when you see a beautiful woman. Remember the purpose of our visit. The second elder of the Yao family reminded. I remember. However, if we don't hurry up and catch up with them, we won't be able to achieve our goal. Said the fifth elder of the Yao family. He had originally wanted to seek revenge on those poisonous insects, but since he had met Lung Ruoxue, he would settle the important matters first. AI. Let's go. The second elder of the Yao family said helplessly. This younger brother of his was good in every way, but he was just too lecherous. Following the Yao family's second elder's order, the rest of the people quietly followed Lung Ruoxue and the rest. However, their every move was within Lung Ruox's expectations. Chapter 1204, Killing the Chicken to Warn the Monkeys. 2. Fengde turned back as he walked. When he saw the Yao family following behind him, he whispered to Lung Ruoxue, "Miss, they're following us. And ignore them. Let them follow us." Lung Ruoxue said calmly. The second elder of the Yao family was a suspicious person by nature and did not believe her words at all. Hence, it was normal for him to follow behind them sneakily. I can't let them follow me for free, you'll have to charge them for it. Fengde asked with an evil smile. Don't worry, there will be a time for you to collect the fees. Lead them up the mountain first. Lung Ruoxue whispered to Fengde, yes. Fengde nodded and immediately led the way as if there was no one else around. After walking for half a day and making a few turns, Lung Ruoxue finally brought them to the mountain peak where they were staying. However, she would not let them stay in the main residence. She had already instructed Fengde and the rest to build some wooden houses near the main residence. That would be their temporary resting place. Everyone, I'm sorry, but I'll have to trouble you to stay here. If you're not satisfied, you can set up your own tents. Lung Ruoxue led them to the wooden house and said to everyone, Looking at the simple wooden house in front of them and then at the tall and beautiful building not far away, everyone was a little dumbfounded. Weren't they guests? How could he let them stay here? At the thought of this, some people were dissatisfied. Miss Lung, aren't we your guests? How can you let us stay here? Someone couldn't help but ask. Who said you're my guests? If you don't live here, where do you want to live? You can also set up your own tent. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Not a guest? Don't forget, it was you who personally went into the forest to welcome us up the mountain. You should invite us into the main residence. That person said, I went to welcome you because you were lost, not because you are my guests. Besides, if I'm not wrong, some of you still want to give me a show of authority. Lung Ruoxue said. Although these people had gone up the mountain with her, many of them had ulterior motives. Hence, she naturally had no reason to be nice to them. The moment Lung Ruoxue's words left her mouth, everyone fell silent. Miss Ling, I'm very satisfied with this place. Thank you. Seeing that no one spoke for a long time, Qi Rui couldn't help but try to smooth things over. It's good that young Master Qi is satisfied. You can arrange your own accommodation here. I don't think it can accommodate so many people, so we can only do it on a first-come, first-served basis. Lung Ruoxue reminded. With that, she turned around and left with Fengde and the rest. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. What kind of attitude is this? This is really too much. Looking at Lung Ruoxue's back, the person who had spoken earlier complained. Since you're so unhappy, why did you come with her? Qi Rui smiled and asked. After that, he didn't wait for the man's answer, and gave Ning Fei a look. Then he led his clansmen into the wooden house. The wooden house was located diagonally opposite the main residence, with a river in between. From the main residence, one could see their every move, but the other party could not see Lung Ruoxue and the others. Lung Ruoxue returned to the main residence and brought Fengde and the rest to the living room. Master Ning and the others were already waiting for them in the living room. After Lung Ruoxue and the rest entered the living room, they each found a chair and sat down. Then, they saw Master Ning and the rest looking at them with anticipation. Godfather, I've brought them here. Lung Ruoxue chuckled and couldn't help but think to herself, this old man is really interesting. With his cultivation level, it's impossible for anything that happened in the forest to be hidden from him. Yet, he still has such a curious expression on his face. It's really disdainful. What was their reaction? Master Ning asked. Curious, dissatisfied, but I won't let them stay here. Lung Ruoxue said with a wicked heart. Actually, it was undeniable that she did it on purpose. She wanted to provoke those people on purpose. Otherwise, how could she continue with her act? Don't give them any food either. Let them go hunting by themselves. Master Ning agreed with a wicked smile. Don't worry, I didn't prepare their meal. Lung Ruoxue promised. Little girl, you're really mean, but I like it. The first elder said with a happy face. Every day with this little girl was so interesting that he didn't want to leave them anymore. What was he going to do? Shui. When do you plan to negotiate with them? Lung Ruhan asked. Brother, the initiative is in our hands now. There's no hurry. When they can't take it anymore, they'll show up. Lung Ruoxue explained. Yes. Lung Ruhan nodded in understanding. Just like that, for 3 consecutive days, Lung Ruoxue did not pay any attention to those people. In the beginning, many people thought that they would be treated like distinguished guests. However, they did not expect that when they went up the mountain with Lung Ruoxue, she would not even bother to have a meal. This fact made them feel extremely unbalanced. In addition, the thick-skinned Yao family members who followed along were fanning the flames, causing more and more dissatisfaction. Some people even crossed the river and started cursing in front of the Lung family's main residence. However, after cursing a few times, they were beaten up by a few people who rushed out of the main residence. Looking at the man's dying appearance, they were so timid that they didn't dare to make a sound. You guys saw it. I've already told you that Lung Ruoxue has no good intentions, but you all didn't believe me. The Yao family's second elder looked at the crowd and said with a pained expression, Second Elder Yao, what do we do now? Someone in the crowd could not help but ask. Of course we should join hands and force them to leave. We have so many people to pressure her, I don't believe that Lung Ruoxue won't be afraid. The Yao family's second elder angrily shouted. Second Elder Yao, well, listen to whatever you want to do. Someone echoed. Up. Second Elder Yao, well, listen to you, you make the decision. The people present quickly changed sides and cooperated. Not far away, Qi Rui and Ning Fei sneered at the ridiculous scene in front of them. They couldn't help but think to themselves, these idiots. If Lung Ruoxue was afraid that they would do something, would she have brought them to her own house? And they really thought that the Yao family's old thing was doing this for their own good. Chapter 1205. Killing the Chicken to Warn the Monkeys. 3. What do you think Second Elder Yao wants to do? Ning Fei asked Qi Rui curiously. What else can I do? He's just trying to stir up the public's dissatisfaction with Lung Ruoxue and the rest. By then, the Yao family can take advantage of the situation. After being ignored by Lung Ruoxue for a few days, these people's hearts had changed quite a bit. If the previous surprise had made them forget their original intentions, now they remembered it again because of anger. Yes, the Yao family has always been good at fishing in troubled waters. However, I'm afraid the Yao family will be disappointed this time. Ning Fei gloated. He knew very well that the ancestor of the Ning family was in the main house across the street. If these people dared to do anything, the ancestor would not let them go. Let's just watch the fun. Qi Rui chuckled as he looked at the impassioned crowd. I love to watch the Yao family's drama. Ning Fei said with a smirk. At this time, after the Yao family's instigation, everyone's anger had also risen. Then, led by the second elder of the Yao family, everyone crossed the river between them in an aggressive manner and directly arrived in front of the Lung family's main residence. Lung Ruoxue and the others heard the commotion and walked out of the courtyard with smiles on their faces. What are you guys trying to do? Lung Ruoxue knew what the advisor was going to say. After waiting for a few days, these people finally took action. She hoped that they would not disappoint her. Lung Ruoxue, you have to give us an explanation. The second elder of the Yao family roared. What kind of explanation? Lung Ruoxue was bewildered. Could it be that this old man had gone crazy from the shock? Otherwise, how could she not understand what this old man was saying? Did she have anything to tell him? You invited us up the mountain and then left us hanging. What do you mean by this? The second elder of the Yao family criticized. Second Elder Yao, when did I invite you up the mountain? If I remember correctly, at that time, you were very firm in suspecting that I didn't have any good intentions and didn't come up with me at all. Lung Ruoxue reminded. You never had a good heart. Even if I didn't want to go up the mountain with you, what about them? You personally invited them up, right? What's the meaning of this? They were all people of status. If word got out that you treated them like this, how would they face others? So, You must give them an explanation. The second elder of the Yao family said indignantly, I only found out today that the Yao family has such a sense of justice. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. What's the meaning of this? The Yao family's second elder questioned in dissatisfaction. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. If second elder Yao doesn't understand the literal meaning, you can go back and check the ancient books. Moreover, although I invited them up the mountain, I didn't say that they were my guests. Since they can't even be considered guests, I naturally don't have the need to entertain them. Lung Ruoxue said disapprovingly. What a sharp-tongued little girl, you're still quibbling. The Yao family's second elder had a disdainful expression. I'm just telling the truth. Lung Ruoxue replied calmly. Good. Even if you don't treat them as guests, since you've invited them up the mountain, you should treat them well out of courtesy, right? The Yao family's second elder's mind whirred as he spoke with a cunning expression. I have one. Didn't I arrange a place for them to stay? Lung Ruoxue played dumb. What's the use of just arranging accommodation? You don't even care about their meals. You've really gone too far. The Yao family's second elder berated. Second elder Yao, could it be that if a stranger goes to your Yao family, you will also provide him with food? As far as I know, only beggars would receive such treatment, right? Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. She didn't know if the second elder of the Yao family understood the beggar's meaning. Impudent! How dare you compare yourself to our Yao family? The Yao family's second elder was so angry that he blew his beard and glared as he loudly shouted. TSK, what does your Yao family have? Don't think that the Yao family is so noble. At this time, Feng De said with a look of disdain. You dare to look down on our Yao family? You really don't know what's good for you. The Yao family's second elder was so angry that his entire body trembled as he pointed at Feng De with a trembling finger and said fiercely, Second elder Yao, are you threatening me? Feng De's face was full of grievance. He kept looking at Lung Ruoxue with a resentful gaze, as if he was saying, I didn't say anything wrong. Why would he be threatened? I'm just reminding you that our Yao family is not to be trifled with. The Yao family's second elder shouted at the top of his voice, not caring about his image. Oh really? What will happen if we offend them? Lung Ruoxue asked with a face full of curiosity. Actually, she didn't intend to treat the Yao family like chickens. However, the Yao family kept sending gifts to her. If she didn't express anything, wouldn't she be letting down their provocation and instigation? Therefore, she changed her mind at the last minute and decided to use the Yao family as an example. Her previous target, a family affiliated with the Yao family, naturally escaped the disaster. You'll definitely regret provoking our Yao family. Our Yao family's revenge will be carried out until death. The second elder of the Yao family said with a proud smile. Oh, then I'd really like to see how your Yao clan will be executed. Lung Ruoxue asked with great interest. After she finished speaking, she gave Feng De and the others a look. Feng De and the others understood her meaning and surrounded the Yao family in the blink of an eye. Looking at Feng De and the others who had surrounded them, the second elder of the Yao family's eyes glowed with a cold light. Then, he said with a slight regret, I originally wanted to let you live, but since you're looking for death, then don't blame me for being impolite. Let them know that our Yao family's dignity cannot be violated by anyone. The second elder of the Yao family said loudly. Yes. Yes, master. The Yao family members quickly responded. Then, the two sides began to fight. The people from the other forces were afraid of being affected by their Shun power, so they all hid to the side and watched the battle. However, no one had thought that this would be a one-sided battle. Feng De and the others were fast, ruthless, accurate, and merciless. Compared to them, the Yao family seemed so fragile, and their momentum was not as good. Chapter 1206, Killing the Chicken to Warn the Monkeys. 4. In just a few breaths, half of the Yao family had been killed or injured. Damn girls, you're too immoral. You actually ganged up on me. Fight me one-on-one if you have the guts. The Yao family's second elder, who was being held back by several people at the same time, roared in anger. The anger in his heart grew even more when he saw that the other forces were just watching. Fuck, these unruly bastards. I stood up for them, but these people actually hid to the side to watch the show when they saw them getting beaten up. I really can't bear it. The second elder couldn't help but curse in his heart. Second Elder Yao, we only care about the outcome of the battle. Who cares what methods they use? Besides, you can also gang up on us. I don't want you to feel unfair, but it seems like no one is going to help you. You can't blame me for this. Lung Ruoxue suggested innocently. Whoever wants to help the Yao family, come at me together. Lung Ruoxue thought for a moment and then said to the forces who were hiding at the side. However, all the major forces ignored her words and pretended to be stupid. Many people even thought in their hearts, attack together? After witnessing the other party's brutal means, how could they still dare? In their hearts, Feng De and the others were like the incarnations of the devil. They couldn't wait to hide, so they didn't dare to take the initiative to come to their door. Second Elder Yao, I've asked around for you, but unfortunately, your Yao family's relationship with you is too bad. No one is willing to help you, and even your affiliated families don't want to work for you. I really feel bad for you. Lung Ruoxue incited. Her words angered the Yao family's subsidiary families, but no one dared to act rashly. Second Elder, don't believe her. This woman is too evil. She actually wants to sow discord between us. Someone from the affiliated family shouted. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the people from the affiliated family of the Yao family glared at him. He was so scared that he shrank his neck and didn't dare to say anything. The Yao family's second elder was busy and didn't have time to deal with him. Not long after, all the members of the Yao family were dead, except for the second and fifth elders. The second elder, who was surrounded by Feng De and the rest, glared at Lung Ruoxue and said fiercely, "How dare you order people to kill the members of our Yao family? Our Yao family won't let you off. You're all dead. Second Elder Yao, you can't even protect yourself, yet you still dare to threaten us. Your courage is truly commendable." Feng De said with a smile. "You guys wouldn't dare to kill me." Although the second elder of the Yao family was in a sorry state, he still spoke with confidence. "Oh really? I wonder why we don't dare to kill you." Lung Ruoxue asked out of curiosity. This second elder's ego was way too high. Reading on MYBO Snow.com, please. I am the second elder of the Yao family. If you dare to kill me, our Yao family will avenge me. The second elder of the Yao family said matter-of-factly. "So you're saying that the Yao family doesn't care about the others we've killed?" The big families are really heartless. They only want to avenge their elders and don't care about the lives of their clansmen. Lung Ruoxue sighed. Her beautiful face was filled with sympathy. Of course, she was pitying the abandoned members of the Yao family. Of course not. Our Yao family won't ignore the life and death of our clansmen. The second elder of the Yao family was stunned for a moment before he quibbled. He hated Lung Ruoxue even more in his heart. That damned woman. How detestable. She had deliberately distorted his words. "Oh, since your Yao family has come to seek revenge on behalf of your clansmen, then killing your two elders isn't a big deal. It doesn't make a difference to me whether I kill you or not." Lung Ruoxue chuckled calmly and said in an infuriating manner. As soon as she finished speaking, everyone saw a cold light flash from the saber in Feng De's hand. Then, the fifth elder of the Yao family, who was covered in injuries, fell to the ground and died. Seeing this, everyone present could not help but gasp. They immediately became nervous. If this person dared to kill the Yao family elder, then wouldn't he have even less of a concern when killing them? At the thought of this, many people were afraid. However, they regretted even more that they had been incited by the second elder of the Yao family to cause trouble for Lung Ruoxue and the others. Now that it had become a huge problem, they did not know if the second elder would hold a grudge. So, at this moment, most of them were filled with regret. Fifth brother. The second elder of the Yao family was in extreme grief. That was his own younger brother. But now, she had died in front of his eyes. This caused his hatred towards Lung Ruoxue to deepen. Chapter 1207. He's Gone Crazy. 1. I won't let you off. You're all dead. The second elder of the Yao family said with hatred. I've heard many people say this before. However, those people all died in my hands in the end. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. In her opinion, the threat from the Yao family's second elder was of no use to her. In any case, she had already decided to use the Yao family as a warning to others. Naturally, she wouldn't care about the threat from the Yao family's second elder. What an arrogant little girl. You'll definitely regret this. The eyes of the second elder of the Yao family were filled with anger and hatred as he glared at Lung Ruoxue. Oh really? Wait and see. Lung Ruoxue laughed nonchalantly, not taking the second elder's threat to heart. Ha! You'll definitely regret this. After he finished speaking, the second elder of the Yao family decided to commit suicide so that Lung Ruoxue would be the one to blame for his death. After all, he knew very well that if only one elder died, the family might not do their best to avenge his brother. However, if an elder like him, who was proficient in formations, died as well, the nature of the matter would be completely different. His status in the family was extraordinary, so the family would definitely avenge him, even if it was only for the family's face and honor. However, before he could execute his plan, Lung Ruoxue saw through his plan. Just as he was about to kill himself, a white light knocked the blade away from his hand. In the next moment, he was subdued by Feng De. Why is second elder Yao taking things so hard? Haven't you heard of the saying, better to live than to die? Don't be afraid, I won't kill you. Lung Ruoxue consoled, but she could not help but laugh in her heart. If you want to die, I won't let you die. Since this old man wanted to use death to frame them, then she naturally couldn't let him do as he wished. Thinking of this, she took out a black pill from her ring and handed it to Feng De. Feng De understood and opened the mouth of the Yao family's second elder and threw the pill in. Then he released his arm and threw the Yao family's second elder on the ground like a piece of trash. Cough cough. Damn it. What did you make me eat? The second elder of the Yao family roared in shame and anger. Why did he feel so weak that he couldn't even stand up, let alone commit suicide? How could this be? It's nothing. Didn't second elder Yao want to commit suicide? I won't let you die. If you die, the Yao family will hunt me down until I die. I'm so scared. Lung Ruoxue said fearfully. However, there was not a single trace of fear on her face. It's good that you know. The Yao family's second elder had a smug look on his face. At this moment, he had even forgotten his current situation. Seeing the Yao family's second elder's smug expression, Lung Ruoxue smiled but did not say anything. Second elder Yao, there are too many people here. Even if you want to commit suicide, don't do it in front of our house. Go back to your Yao family and commit suicide. Feng De laughed evilly as he spoke. He couldn't bear to see the Yao family's second elder's smug expression. You want me to die, but I won tea. The Yao family's second elder said angrily. Not dead? Even if you want to die now, can you? I'm afraid that you can't even pick up a saber now. Feng De said. He had never doubted the effects of the young lattice pills, so he exposed the Yao family's second elder's words without any hesitation. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. Who said that? The second elder of the Yao family said stubbornly. Isn't it? Then pick up the knife and let me see. Feng De looked at the Yao family's second elder provocatively. Just you wait. The Yao family's second elder said with a fierce look in his eyes. He would never admit defeat in front of these young brats. However, when he used all his strength to pick up the knife on the ground, he found that he couldn't even lift it. It seemed that the effect of the medicine was more powerful than he had imagined. He couldn't even lift the knife. Second elder Yao, I'm waiting. Feng De looked at the depressed expression on the Yao family's second elder's face, and his heart was filled with joy. You can kill me. The second elder of the Yao family said dejectedly. If you want me to kill, then he'll kill. Then he'll lose face. Feng De said with a smile. This old man wanted to frame them for his death just now. He would not be fooled. This old thing wanted to die, but he wouldn't let him. The Yao family's second elder was so angry that he couldn't speak. Unable to catch his breath, he actually fainted from anger. The crowd didn't know what to feel when they saw the scene of the Yao family's second elder not only failing to commit suicide, but also fainting from anger. This was simply too unbelievable. None of them had expected that the second elder of the Yao family would want to be killed after failing to commit suicide, and yet the other party would refuse to do so. What the hell is this? However, after seeing the fate of the Yao family, many forces began to think of retreating. Some of them were still hesitating, and their thoughts of punishing the Yao family had to be dispelled because of the tragic situation. The Yao family's second elder has fainted, so I'll give you a chance now. If you have any ideas, you can all share them. Lung Ruoxu's beautiful eyes surveyed the crowd as she smiled calmly. However, no one responded to her for a long time. Don't you have anything to say? I'm giving you a chance. Lung Ruoxue continued to ask. Miss Lung, we're here to congratulate you, don't you think so? Ning Fei said with a smile. Our Qi clan has also specially come to congratulate Miss Lung. Qi Rue agreed. As soon as the two of them finished speaking, many people couldn't help but despise them in their hearts. People from the 8 great divine regions? This ability to change sides with the wind was really extraordinary. However, no one cared about what they thought. The Ning clan and Qi clan were not here to cause trouble for Lung Ruoxue and the rest. Lung Ruoxue and the rest were well aware of what they were thinking. What about you guys? Lung Ruoxue smiled as she asked the others. We're also here to congratulate you. The Cheng family's elder leader said. To be honest, he was shocked by Lung Ruoxue and the rest's thunderous methods. One should know that the Yao family was ranked second in the 8 great divine domains, but they had annihilated them without a second thought. Hence, he, who had been observing the situation, could only express his position in advance. Furthermore, he also remembered what the eldest miss had told him before he came. Lung Ruoxue could only be friends, not enemies. Chapter 1208, She's Gone Crazy, 2. Elder Cheng is indeed a wise man. What about the rest of you? Lung Ruoxue nodded her head in satisfaction and continued to ask. We are too. Immediately after, another force echoed. The Yao clan was only left with an unconscious commander, and the Cheng clan had also gone with the flow, so what were they still hesitating for? That's right. We're all here to offer our congratulations. Seeing that someone had taken the lead, more and more forces began to give in. Very good, he said. Lung Ruoxue was very satisfied with their tactfulness. She then turned her gaze to the few affiliated families of the Yao family who had not spoken. She said in an understanding manner, I know your relationship with the Yao family, so I won't make things difficult for you. You just have to tell me whether you want to live or die. Even though Lung Ruoxue had a smile on her face when she said this, anyone who wasn't an idiot could tell that she was threatening them. The few families under the Yao family were no exception. The few families were still a little hesitant. After looking at each other, they made up their minds and said in unison, Of course we want to live. We didn't want to be enemies with young Lady Lung, but the Yao family's second elder forced us to. Taking advantage of the fact that the second elder of the Yao family had fainted, the other families pushed the blame onto the second elder. After all, the other party had even dared to kill the Yao family, so why would he care about these small fries? They didn't want to die here, but their words were heard by the second elder, who had just woken up. How dare you all betray the Yao family? The Yao family's second elder roared furiously, his entire body trembling in anger. Second elder, we didn't betray the Yao family. Please don't misunderstand us. The leaders of several families said hurriedly. Their hearts were beating nervously. Why did this old thing wake up and hear what they said just now? What should they do now? For a moment, they were all a little afraid, but after a moment of fear, they saw the tragic state of the Yao family's second elder and felt relieved. Now that the second elder was in a difficult situation, he would probably not have the chance to blame them. I heard it with my own ears, how could it be fake? The second elder of the Yao family snorted coldly. He would deal with these despicable people when he returned to the Yao family. He couldn't fall out with them now, as he still needed them. However, as the saying goes, when a tiger falls into the sun, it will be bullied by dogs. At this moment, in the eyes of the affiliated families, the second elder of the Yao family, who had a rather high status and identity, was a tiger that had fallen into the sun. As a result, they were no longer afraid of the second elder's cold words. Second elder, you've misheard. The leaders of the affiliated families looked at each other with tacit understanding in their eyes. They knew that as long as they didn't admit it, the second elder of the Yao family wouldn't be able to do anything. Thus, they became fearless. How audacious! Now you even dare to fool me. I think you're tired of living. When the second elder of the Yao family heard their words, he was so angry that he shouted at the top of his lungs. Second elder Yao is really full of himself. You can still shout so loudly now. Lung Ruoxue chuckled and teased them as she looked at the dog-eat-dog fight. You don't have to be afraid of second elder Yao now. Even if he wants to kill you, he can't do it. Feng De also reminded him with an evil smile. Yes, there are so many of you. There's no need to be afraid of him. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. Initially, Lung Ruoxue didn't want to interrupt them when she saw them coaxing each other. However, she felt that these people were too hypocritical. They had argued for a long time, but they didn't get to the point. That was why she wanted to add fuel to the fire. Otherwise, when would they be able to turn against each other? She was still waiting to watch the show, and at this time, she estimated that the medicinal pill that the Yao family's second elder had just taken should be almost finished. As she thought about it, she saw the second elder of the Yao family stand up from the ground and charge straight at the leader of the subsidiary families closest to him. In an instant, the leader's head fell to the ground and he died. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but clap her hands as she smiled. The second elder of the Yao family is indeed extraordinary. He's able to face so many people as if no one was there. I really admire him. Lung Ruoxue, our Yao family will never let you off. After killing one person, the second elder of the Yao family was in a good mood. He didn't plan to continue killing. After all, with the death of a leader, the other affiliated families were on guard. It wouldn't be so easy for him to attack again. Second elder Yao, I've heard these words of yours many times. Change it to something new. Lung Ruoxue was extremely calm and did not take the threat from the Yao family's second elder to heart. After all, she had grown up in fear. You will regret killing my Yao family's member today. The second elder of the Yao family said. Isn't that the same? Lung Ruoxue was still not satisfied. The Yao family's second elder was so angry that he was at a loss for words. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. Why is this damned woman so difficult to serve? However, he no longer wanted to die here. He had thought it through. If he really died and the Yao family did not do their best to avenge him, then wouldn't his death be in vain? Hence, he had to think of a way to return to the Yao family. However, he was very clear that Lung Ruoxue would not let him leave this place easily. Hence, he had to think of a good plan. When he thought of this, his eyes rolled back and he fainted again. Of course, he was pretending this time. Why did the old man faint again? Lung Ruoxue mumbled to herself as she pretended to be confused. However, she was laughing to death in her heart. Did the second elder of the Yao family change his strategy? He even pretended to faint. She had to cooperate, or else wouldn't it be a waste of the Yao family's second elder's hard work in acting? Young miss, second elder Yao should be old, that's why he faints so easily. Feng De said very cooperatively. Feng De, I have a pill here, quickly give it to second elder Yao. He can't die here, the second elder has a high status in the Yao family. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly as she took out a gray pill from her bracelet and passed it to Feng Dedeo. All right. Feng De took the pill and pried open the Yao family's second elder's mouth in the same way he did before throwing the pill in. Chapter 1209, She's Gone Crazy, 3. The pill was extremely bitter and it melted in his mouth. The moment it entered his mouth, the second elder of the Yao family almost jumped up. However, in order not to let Leng Ruoxue and the others see through him, he suppressed the bitterness in his mouth and laid on the ground, not moving at all. After waiting for a while, Feng De saw that the second elder of the Yao family showed no signs of waking up, so he said with a bitter face, "Miss, is the Yao family's second elder about to die from anger? Why hasn't there been any reaction after so long?" "It's okay. I still have a lot of pills here. Give him all of them to try. He'll wake up eventually." Leng Ruoxue left. She then took out a white jade bottle from her bracelet and passed it to Feng De. "Yes, yes." Feng De happily took the pill and pried open the mouth of the Yao family's second elder again. However, the second elder, who didn't want to eat any more of their pills, kept his mouth tightly shut. Seeing this, Feng De could only punch at the second elder's mouth. Immediately, blood flowed out of the second elder's mouth, and a few of his teeth fell out. This time, even if he didn't want to open his mouth, Feng De had a way to make him eat the pill. The second elder of the Yao family, who had been ruthlessly punched, had an extremely strong will. Even though he had lost a few teeth, he still lay on the ground and pretended to be dead. After everyone saw Feng De's rough methods, they couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Fuck, he's really too barbaric. Poor second elder of the Yao family. He couldn't escape this even if he fainted. He was really too unlucky. The more observant ones among them could naturally tell that the second elder of the Yao family had not truly fainted. However, it was also because of this that they admired the second elder's flexible character. Feng De threw a few pills into the gap between the teeth of the Yao family's second elder, while carefully observing his reaction. When he saw that the Yao family's second elder still didn't move, he kept throwing the pills into the Yao family's second elder's mouth. Those pills were of different colors. Although Feng De didn't know all of their medicinal properties, he was very clear that the pills given to him by the young lady would definitely not make the second elder of the Yao family feel comfortable. They just didn't know if the second elder could bear with their experiments. After waiting for a while, he noticed a pained expression on the second elder's face. Although it was very subtle, he still noticed it with his sharp eyes. Seeing this, he continued to throw the pills in the small porcelain bottle into the second elder's mouth. When the pill entered the mouth of the second elder, he couldn't spit it out even if he wanted to. Furthermore, there were all kinds of feelings in his mouth. At first, it was extremely bitter, then it was extremely sour, then it was so spicy that he almost bit off his tongue. Finally, it was extremely smelly. However, he could only endure it. Otherwise, all his previous efforts would have been in vain. However, what made him even angrier was that when the other party saw that he was unwilling to wake up, he actually threw a large number of medicinal pills into his mouth, causing his mouth to taste bitter, sour, spicy, and stinky. All the tastes were mixed together in the end. It was so painful that he almost cried, but he could only endure it. "Miss, do you have any more medicine?" Feng De asked again when he saw that the medicine in the porcelain bottle his young lady had given him was empty. "There are a lot of them." Leng Ruoxue chuckled and took out a few porcelain bottles from her bracelet, handing them all to Feng De. My goal is to wake up the Yao second elder, and I will not stop until I achieve my goal." Feng De's will was also very firm. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. "Captain, let me help you. So many pills, when can you finish feeding them?" Lin Yuan chuckled as he walked to Feng De's side and said, "Yes, let's feed him together." Feng De nodded. He opened the bottle and poured the pill into the second elder's mouth. Lin Yuan, who was at the side, followed Feng De's example. He opened the bottle cap roughly and poured all the pills in. Fortunately, the pills melted as soon as they entered his mouth. Otherwise, the Yao family's second elder's mouth would be stuffed. At that time, he would not be able to play dead even if he wanted to. After each of them finished a bottle, the two of them continued to pour the other pills into the mouth of the Yao family's second elder. This scene made everyone's heart tremble in fear. He didn't know what kind of pills they were, but wouldn't it kill him if he ate them like this? At this moment, They were full of sympathy for the Yao family's second elder, but no one spoke up to plead for him. The Yao family's second elder, who had been lying on the ground and feigning death, couldn't hold it in any longer after being forced to drink several bottles of flavorful pills. He jumped up from the ground with a schwa, then bent down and kept retching. Although he couldn't vomit anything out, the strange and mixed taste in his mouth stayed in his mouth and didn't dissipate for a long time. "Miss, your medicine is really effective. The second elder of the Yao family has woken up." Feng De said happily. "Yes, my pill will save him even if he's half dead." Lung Ruoxue teased calmly. "You." The second elder of the Yao family, who had vomited for a long time, pointed a trembling finger at Lung Ruoxue. However, he could not complete a single sentence. There was even a metallic taste in his throat. The next second, he fainted again. This time, he was definitely not pretending. "Miss," he fainted again. Feng De reminded everyone of the facts they had seen and even kicked the second elder of the Yao family a few times. "This old man's physical fitness is too poor. He's really wasting my young Miss Medicine," Lin Yuan said with slight dissatisfaction, and also took the opportunity to kick the Yao family's second elder a few times. "AI. So what if he fainted? In a moment, hand him over to the Yao family's subsidiary families and have them bring second elder Yao back to the Yao family." Lung Ruoxue said helplessly he. She decided to let the tiger return to the mountain. "And that's all we can do. We can't take him in." Feng De agreed. Then, Feng De said to the members of the Yao family's affiliated families, "When you leave, don't forget to bring this second elder of the Yao family back to the Yao family, yes." When the people from the Yao family's affiliated families heard this, they hurriedly nodded, and their hanging hearts were greatly relieved. That was close. They knew very well that the other party was probably planning to let them go by saying this. Therefore, they had to perform well and fight to go back alive. Chapter 12:10, She's Gone Crazy. 4. Anyone else who has any objections to my choice of the Nightmare Forest as my territory can speak now. If you don't speak now and I hear it behind my back, you will end up like the Yao family. Lung Ruoxue said emotionlessly. "We have no objections." The people from the various forces hurriedly said. "Fuck, these people were all like fiends. Who would dare to have any objections? Could it be that their power was greater than the Yao family? They even dared to kill the Yao family, which was ranked second among the 8 great divine regions, not to mention them. Besides, this forest didn't belong to any family. Since no one else said anything, naturally no one would be willing to be the bird that would stand out to find trouble." Lung Ruoxue saw that no one objected and could not help but nod her head in satisfaction. She then chuckled. "Actually, there is no need for all of you to come here and question me. Although I have taken this Nightmare Forest as my territory, you can still come to the outer regions of the forest to train. As for the 3 mountains in the deeper regions of the forest, none of you are allowed to take even half a step into them without my permission. Otherwise, I will not be responsible if any accidents happen." When the factions heard that they could come back to the forest, for some reason, they didn't feel happy at all. Instead, they suddenly thought of the poisonous scorpions, poisonous bees, and giant spiders they had encountered a few days ago. Now that the forest had a terrifying and cruel master, their desire to train here had waned. Furthermore, this forest wasn't the only forest on the godly mainland. They could go somewhere else if they didn't come here. Therefore, many people had already made up their minds that they wouldn't come here again even if they were beaten to death. However, most of the people who came here were smart people. Naturally, they would not reveal anything on their faces. Not only that, they even had to hypocritically echo Lung Ruoxue's words. "Miss Lung is really a reasonable person. This one is impressed." Someone in the crowd said, If we had known that Miss Lung was so reasonable, why would we have come here to find trouble? It's all the Yao family's 5th elder's fault. He was the one who wore the armor." Someone had directly betrayed the 5th elder of the Yao family. Since the 5th elder was already dead, he couldn't climb out of the ground to settle the score with them even if the dirty water was poured on him. That's right, it was the Yao family who incited us. We didn't intend to come here to find trouble with you, Miss Lung. There were people constantly adding insult to injury. The Yao family's people were almost completely annihilated, and the only one alive even fainted from anger, so they had nothing to fear. I know. However, the Yao family has suffered heavy losses this time. If the Yao family finds out that you've just stood by and watched, I'm afraid. Lung Ruoxue wanted to say something but stopped halfway. Don't worry, Miss Lung. We all know that the Yao family was killed by poisonous bees and scorpions. It has nothing to do with you. The moment Lung Ruoxue finished her sentence, someone in the crowd started to cooperate. Even though this person's words made everyone present look down on him, they had no choice but to cooperate. Lung Ruoxue was right. The Yao clan would definitely blame this on them. After all, the Yao clan had all died. Even if they said that it had nothing to do with him, with the extreme character of the Yao family, no one would believe them. Lung Ruoxue was extremely satisfied with this person's understanding of the ways of the world. Miss Lung, this second elder Yao is still alive. Will he betray us? At this time, someone could not help but ask. Do you think anyone would believe his words with his current state? Lung Ruoxue looked at the Yao family's second elder, who had just woken up. Reading on MYBO Snow Velcom, please. The person who asked was speechless. The Yao family's second elder's current appearance was quite miserable. He was in a sorry state from head to toe and even lost a few teeth. Moreover, the second elder, who had just woken up, was looking at the crowd with a dazed expression, saliva flowing down from the corner of his mouth. Mother, I'm hungry. The second elder of the Yao family shouted at a slightly chubby middle-aged man. Everyone fell silent. They looked at the Yao family's second elder as if he was a monster. There was only one thought in their minds. Had the second elder of the Yao family gone mad? Mother, I'm hungry. Seeing that he didn't get a response, the second elder of the Yao family didn't give up and continued to call out. He even ran in front of the person and clutched at his clothes like a spoiled child, putting on a pitiful and aggrieved expression. Chapter 12:11. Probing. I'm not your mother, go away. Get away from me. The middle-aged man bellowed in shock, his face completely red. He used all his strength to push away the second elder, who was gripping his clothes, but he accidentally overused his strength and pushed the second elder to the ground. However, the second elder of the Yao family was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. After getting up from the ground, he unwillingly ran to the middle-aged man and cried out with an aggrieved face, "Mom, don't ignore me. I'm wrong. I'm not your mother. Get away from me." The middle-aged man couldn't take it anymore and shouted, "Mother!" The second elder of the Yao family had an aggrieved look on his face. His eyes were still filled with tears as he looked pitifully at the middle-aged man. His appearance was truly as pitiful as it could be. "Go away. You're not allowed to call me mother." The middle-aged man was furious, but he didn't dare to do anything to this crazy second elder. "But you're my mother." The second elder of the Yao family mumbled softly, his eyes occasionally stealing glances at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man felt like he was about to go crazy, but he couldn't do anything about the second elder of the Yao family who had identified him as his mother. He looked at the others with pleading eyes, but no one was willing to help him out of this situation. Actually, it wasn't that everyone didn't want to help him, but that they couldn't help him, because right now, everyone was basically struck by lightning, and the sky was rumbling with thunder. That was the only thought in everyone's mind. Moreover, they didn't know how to help. The second elder of the Yao family was clearly acting like a baby who hadn't been weaned yet. Judging from his behavior, he seemed to be certain that the middle-aged man was his mother. They couldn't possibly forcefully separate the mother and son, right? "Miss, do you think he's really crazy, or is he faking it?" After seeing this scene, Feng Day's forehead was full of black lines, and he couldn't help but ask. "If you think he's really crazy, then he's really crazy. If you think he's pretending, then he's not." Lung Ruoxue said in a tongue-twister-like manner. "Miss, words are getting more and more profound." Feng De said as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. It looks like things are getting more and more lively. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. She had really underestimated the second elder of the Yao family. She didn't expect him to be able to do this. In fact, she knew very well that the second elder of the Yao family had not gone mad at all. He had only played the fool in order to survive. Otherwise, the second elder of the Yao family was afraid that they would come up with some way to torture him. But one thing was for sure, the first thing the second elder of the Yao family would do when he returned to the Yao family was to get rid of these people from the affiliated families, and then take revenge on them. Should she really let the tiger return to the mountain? Forget it, let's see the performance of the Yao family's second elder first. Lung Ruoxue thought to herself. Miss, you're keeping us in suspense too. Feng De couldn't help but complain. Reading on Maibo Snow.com, please. Ha! Then what about your own judgment? Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. I think this old man is definitely pretending to be crazy. We gave him so much medicine just now, but he would rather pretend to be dead than wake up. How could he really be crazy? Feng De analyzed. That old man's will was firm, and he had a strong heart. It was impossible for him to go crazy over such a small blow. We just need to watch the show. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. Since this old man liked to play the fool, if she didn't cooperate with him, she would be letting down this old man's acting skills. Thinking of this, she turned around and whispered a few words to Feng De. After that, Feng De turned around and left. When Feng De came back, there was a piece of raw meat in his hand. The meat was still dripping with blood and looked very fresh. Feng De walked up to the second elder of the Yao family and looked at him with a kind expression. He even patted his head as if he was petting a puppy, then said, Little Yao Yao, don't pester your mom. Aren't you hungry? Uncle has a piece of meat here, you should eat it quickly. Don't starve yourself, or Uncle will be heartbroken. Ah! When the people present heard Feng De's words, the corners of their mouths could not help but twitch, and black lines appeared on their foreheads. They all thought in unison, this guy is too bad. He actually took a piece of raw meat covered in blood and let the second elder eat it. He even called her little Yao Yao and considered himself uncle. He was too shameless. However, they didn't dare to say this out loud and could only think about it in their hearts. When the second elder of the Yao family, who was playing the fool, heard Feng De's words and looked at the piece of raw meat in his hand, he resisted the urge to vomit. His brows furrowed even more imperceptibly, and his mind quickly turned. In the end, he had no choice but to reach out and take the piece of meat that was still dripping with blood. Even though he really didn't want to take it, he was afraid that if he refused, Lung Ruoxue and the others would find out that he was pretending to be crazy. This was because he was very clear that if he didn't want to die now, the other party would most likely not let him off. He still wanted to keep his life and return to the Yao family. Therefore, no matter how disgusting it was, he had no choice but to swallow this piece of meat. That piece of meat was very fat and looked very greasy. Although the Yao family's second elder had made up his mind to eat it, he couldn't bring himself to eat it. His heart was in a dilemma. Little Yao Yao, why are you not eating? Weren't you hungry? Hurry up and eat. This big piece is enough for you to eat, don't be afraid. No one will fight with you for it. Feng De smiled as he consoled her, but he almost laughed in his heart. The young miss was really too evil. She actually wanted the second elder of the Yao family to eat raw meat. Not only did the meat look bloody, but it was also very fat. Just looking at it made people feel disgusted, not to mention eating it. After hearing Feng De's words, the second elder steeled his heart and stuffed the bloodied meat into his mouth. The meat was smooth and greasy, and the tendrils were thick, with a faint fishy smell. In addition, his front teeth had been knocked out by Feng De, so he could not break the meat after biting it several times. Instead, the feeling of wanting to vomit kept surging up his throat. Little Yao Yao, Uncle was wrong. I shouldn't have given you such a big piece of meat. You don't have teeth. Come, Uncle will cut it into small pieces for you. Feng De watched the battle between the second elder of the Yao family and the piece of meat and laughed to himself. However, he put on an expression as if he had done something wrong. Then he snatched the piece of raw meat from the second elder's mouth and took out a knife from his storage ring. Shwa. In a few moments, the meat was cut into small pieces. The fat and thin parts were evenly distributed. After cutting, he carried the meat on a huge leaf and returned it to the Yao family's second elder. Chapter 12:12. Test 2. The second elder of the Yao family looked at the piece of meat in his hand and felt like crying. In order not to let Leng Ruoxue and the rest notice anything amiss, he had no choice but to swallow the things he had vomited. Then he picked up a small piece of meat and put it in his mouth. He swallowed it without even chewing. After a long time, Feng De was full of admiration when he saw that the second elder of the Yao family had finished all the meat. Then he took out a piece of meat from his ring and cut it into small pieces. He handed it to the second elder and said with a smile, "Come, little Yao Yao, eat more. You're still growing, so don't starve yourself." "Uncle, I'm full," the Yao family's second elder said as he tried to hold back his nausea. He really didn't want to eat anymore, and he couldn't eat anymore. Otherwise, he would be exposed. Moreover, the meat Feng De took out this time was even fatter than the previous one. Damn it, wasn't he deliberately messing with him? Actually, he had guessed correctly. The reason why Leng Ruoxue had Feng De do this was to prank him. She wanted to see how much this second elder of the Yao family could endure in order to play the fool. Furthermore, this was only the beginning. "Little Yao Yao, kids can't lie. You're obviously not full, how can you lie to uncle? Don't you guys agree?" Feng De said disapprovingly, then asked the others. "Up. Little Yao Yao, hurry up and eat." Qi Rui said cooperatively, but he was already laughing in his heart. This second elder of the Yao family was truly too pitiful. Did he think that he could escape just because he was crazy? Based on his understanding of Leng Ruoxue and the rest, he knew that it was impossible. They would not let him off so easily. "Little Yao Yao, hurry up and eat. Look at how well this uncle is treating you and how much he cares about you." "Up. Little Yao Yao, a child can't disobey an adult's words. Just eat when I tell you to." Under the pressure, everyone had no choice but to speak up to persuade him. Their words made the Yao family's second elder secretly hate them, and he secretly memorized the people who spoke. "I'll let you be proud for a while, but you'll regret it later. Little Yao Yao, look at all the uncles and aunties who are so concerned about you. You can't let down our good intentions." Feng De reminded him with a smile. "Oh, yes," the Yao family's second elder responded softly. He then unwillingly picked up the meat and began to stuff it into his mouth. However, when he endured the disgust and finished the meat, he realized that Feng De had taken out another piece of meat. He did not even think and pretended to faint. "Little Yao Yao, what's wrong with you?" Feng De was greatly alarmed and kicked the Yao family's second elder with a concerned expression. "Miss," he fainted again. "Get the medicine." Feng De said nervously when he saw that the second elder of the Yao family had no reaction. The Yao family's second elder probably fainted from hunger. "You just have to feed him more," Leng Ruoxue reminded. "Reading on Maibo Snow Vel Com, please." "Oh right. How could I have forgotten about this?" Feng De patted his forehead as if he had suddenly realized something. Then he lowered his body and brought the meat to the mouth of the Yao family's second elder, coaxing, "Little Yao Yao, uncle knows you're hungry. Hurry up and get up to eat. If you don't get up, uncle will throw you into the forest to feed the wolves." "Ah." When everyone heard Feng De's words, cold sweat trickled down their foreheads and they secretly cursed him. This person was really too bad. He wanted to wake up the second elder of the Yao family to eat and even threatened him. However, they were more curious whether the second elder of the Yao family would really wake up. After a long while, Feng De saw that the second elder of the Yao family was still pretending to be unconscious, so he directly instructed Lin Yuan, "Lin Yuan, bring a wolf over." "All right." Lin Yuan replied with a bitter smile. The captain asked him to lead a wolf, but he didn't have any wolf-type beasts, so where was he supposed to lead one? He was in a difficult position. After thinking for a while, he suddenly had an idea. He turned around and ran into the forest. An hour later, he returned, and beside him was a pitch-black, enormous wolf. That wolf's eyes were deep and fierce, and with one look, one could tell that it was a very bloodthirsty beast. Big Black, eat him. Lin Yuan pointed at the Yao family's second elder who was still lying on the ground. Master, can I really eat him? The giant black wolf said with uncertainty. Of course. Lin Yuan nodded his head. After the giant black wolf received an affirmative answer, it strode to the side of the Yao family's second elder and sniffed. Then, it said with a look of disgust, Master, this person is too stinky. Can I not eat him? Big Black. He was a high-level deity. If you eat it, you might be able to advance. Lin Yuan reminded. I know, but I really don't want to eat him. Although I'm a wolf, we wolves also have taste. We don't just stuff everything into our mouths. The black wolf said seriously. To the second elder of the Yao family, who was pretending to be unconscious, its words were like sarcasm. He was worse than a wolf, and he would put anything into his mouth. When the people present heard the black wolf's words, they glanced at the second elder of the Yao family who was lying on the ground and didn't know what to say. As the second elder of the Yao family, he would never have thought that he would be looked down upon by a wolf, right? Other than expressing sympathy for the second elder of the Yao family, they had no other thoughts. Then what should we do? We can't let it go to waste. Lin Yuan said with some difficulty. Master, I know a giant python in the forest. That guy is very tasteless and will eat anything. Why don't you let it eat this man? The giant black wolf suggested. Captain, what do you think? Lin Yuan asked for Feng Die's opinion. That's fine too. Feng De frowned and laughed in his heart. The Yao family's second elder was actually despised by the wolves. He really didn't know where Lin Yuan had found this wolf. It was quite interesting. Big Black, then go quickly and come back quickly. Seeing that Feng De had agreed, Lin Yuan said to the giant black wolf. Yes. The black wolf nodded and disappeared like a black lightning. Not long after, the giant black wolf returned with a squirming gray python. The python was nearly 100 meters long and as thick as a water tank. It had a pair of light bulb-sized gray-black eyes that were looking at the people in front of it with vigilance. Chapter 12-13, Test 3. Master, I'm back. The giant black wolf said. Big Black, this is your friend. Lin Yuan said in understanding. Yes, Master can call him Big Gray. The giant black wolf grinned. Ah. Lin Yuan was a little speechless. The names of these beasts were really simple enough. They actually differentiated them by color. Hee. I wonder what they're called when they're in the same color? Hello, Big Black's master. The gray python said politely. Hello, are you interested in that person? Lin Yuan pointed at the Yao family's second elder on the ground and asked. After hearing Lin Yuan's words, the gray python slowly came to the side of the Yao family's second elder. After carefully observing him, it finally came to an important conclusion. This person's body stinks. How long have you not showered? I don't know. Big Gray, right? Take a look and see if this thing is edible. Feng De said with a smile. Since the Yao family's second elder liked to play dead so much, then he couldn't be blamed. Yes, I can eat it, but I hate people who are stinky. The gray python's face was filled with dissatisfaction. There's no other way. Just make do with it. Feng De said helplessly. AI. Alright. The gray python unwillingly nodded and opened its mouth, but it did not bite down. The saliva in its mouth dripped from the corner of its mouth onto the second elder's body. In the blink of an eye, the second elder was completely drenched. The gray python's breath was extremely heavy, and it emitted a strong stench. Its saliva, in particular, smelled even worse. The second elder of the Yao family, who was pretending to be unconscious, could only hold his breath, not even daring to breathe loudly. At this moment, the python's thick tail swept across his body again, causing him to lose all the breath he had held in with great difficulty, and the unpleasant smell directly entered his nose. The stench made it impossible for him to continue pretending. However, just as he was about to get up, he found that the huge gray python's bloody mouth was right at his head, and its saliva happened to drip into his mouth. Cough, cough. The second elder of the Yao family coughed nonstop. He pushed the giant python's head away, flipped over, and jumped up. Then he vomited. Little Yao Yao is finally awake, sigh. Uncle spent a lot of effort to wake you up. Feng De couldn't help but grumble, and then he said to the gray python in embarrassment, Big Gray, I'm sorry. I thought he was dead, so I wanted to give you food. Now that he's awake, I can't let you eat him. Reading on Maibo Snow Velcom, please. It doesn't matter. If he dies again, you can just give him to me to eat. The gray python said indifferently, then obediently crawled to the side and stayed there. Little Yao Yao, did you hear that? If you die again, he'll have to feed you to this python. Feng De said with a smirk. Come. It was better to obediently eat this meat. Uncle won't allow you to waste it. Feng De said. Uncle is the best. The Yao family's second elder gritted his teeth, his heart filled with hatred for Feng De. However, he had no choice but to swallow his pride. Who asked him to pretend to be crazy? This time, he had really shot himself in the foot. Be good. Feng De personally watched as the second elder of the Yao family ate the raw meat again. Then, he took out a cup of water and passed it to him. Come, drink some water. Don't swallow it. Feng De asked with concern. The Yao family's second elder took the water, raised his head, and poured it all into his mouth. However, after he swallowed it, he realized that it was not water at all, but wine, and wine with a very high alcohol content. As soon as the wine entered his stomach, he felt as if his stomach was on fire. Furthermore, he felt like he wanted to relieve himself. What the hell was this wine for him? Wasn't she trying to take his life? He couldn't wait to find a place to relieve himself, but before he could do so, he was stopped by Feng De. Little Yao Yao, where do you want to go? Don't run around. There are many wild beasts in the forest, and they will eat you. Feng De said with a smile. I want to relieve myself. The second elder of the Yao family shouted loudly. At this time, he no longer cared if they would find out that he was pretending to be crazy. He only wanted to find a place to solve his own problem. We can't relieve ourselves here, let Big Gray take you somewhere else. Feng De gave Big Gray beside him a look, and Big Gray quickly crawled over. Then, it used its tail to wrap around the Yao family's second elder, and with a whoosh they disappeared. When night fell, Big Gray and the Yao family's second elder still hadn't returned. Everyone present couldn't help but secretly guess that the Yao family's second elder couldn't have secretly sneaked away. However, just as they were letting their thoughts run wild, they noticed that the gray python was slowly crawling back with the second elder of the Yao family wrapped in its arms. In front of the crowd, the gray python threw the second elder to the ground with a look of disgust. The second elder's face was frighteningly pale and his body was extremely weak. He had been lying on the ground ever since he was thrown. When everyone saw this situation, their gossiping hearts were all hooked. The Yao family's second elder looked as if he had been ravaged by some beast. Don't let your thoughts run wild, I didn't do anything to him. He was the one who pulled for too long and was exhausted. The gray python could not help but defend itself when it saw the strange gazes of the people in front of it. Everyone didn't expect that their thoughts would be seen through by a beastie, and they were all a little embarrassed. Big Gray, where did you take him? What took you so long? Feng De asked curiously. I brought him out of the forest to relieve himself outside of Linjiang City. The gray python explained. How could it let a human relieve himself in the forest? That would be too unhygienic. You're really smart. Feng De agreed. The road outside Linjiang City was the only path the Yao family had to take. It was convenient to take the road there, and it would also give the second elder of the Yao family an unforgettable memory. You're flattering me, but when he was relieving himself, he was surrounded by many people. The gray python said, This is really none of my business. I didn't know that there would be so many people there today. Usually, there aren't many people walking around there. The gray python explained with a wronged expression. Chapter 12-14, Test 4. It doesn't matter. It's okay, Little Yao Yao won't mind and won't blame you. You're just being kind. Feng De saw the gray python feeling guilty and quickly comforted it. Don't know my ass. The Yao family's second elder, who was lying on the ground, cursed in his heart. At this moment, another damn gray python had appeared on his list of targets to kill. Fuck, he didn't know if this damn snake was in cahoots with Feng De and the others. Why did they have to mess with him together? He felt extremely unbalanced. In fact, he had really wronged the gray python. It was purely an accident that the gray python had taken him to the road leading to Linjiang City. At first, the gray python only wanted to take the second elder out of the forest. However, it remembered that the cities near the forest had already belonged to Big Black's master, so it naturally couldn't let the second elder relieve himself in Linjiang City. Therefore, it walked further and further away until it was far away from Linjiang City before it let the second elder down. At that time, the second elder of the Yao family couldn't hold it in any longer. He didn't even have time to see where he was and immediately took off his pants to relieve himself. As a result, while he was relieving himself, there were always people passing by on the road from time to time. Therefore, his indecent behavior was seen by people, and there were even people who knew him. After all, the second elder of the Yao family was a well-known figure on the divine mainland. Now, he had lost all his face. Therefore, he hated the giant gray python as well. Really? The gray python's eyes were filled with tears as it carefully asked. Yes, little Yao Yao, you won't blame it, right? Feng De asked as he bent down and looked at the second elder of the Yao family who was lying on the ground. Yes. The second elder of the Yao family suppressed his anger and unwillingly nodded. Little Yao Yao is so obedient. Feng De patted the head of the second elder of the Yao family and praised him. The second elder of the Yao family closed his eyes in anger, not willing to speak. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue, who had seen enough of the commotion, smiled faintly at the members of the Yao family's subsidiary family and said, "All right, since little Yao Yao has returned, you can take her away." Ah! The members of the Yao family's subsidiary families looked at each other, their eyes filled with unwillingness. What's wrong? Are you all afraid of a lunatic? Leng Ruoxue said with a look of disdain. After a round of probing, she was deeply impressed by the patience of the Yao family's second elder. However, this way she wouldn't be able to let him return to the Yao family in peace. The best way was to let them fight each other. She would hand over the feigned madness of the Yao family's second elder to the other affiliated families. As for how they would treat him or how he would deal with them, that was not within her scope of concern. We, the members of the Yao family's affiliated families, were hesitant. In fact, they weren't afraid, but they didn't want the second elder of the Yao family to return to the Yao family. Otherwise, they would be the first ones to suffer. However, they couldn't say this too bluntly. Reading on Maibo Snow.com, please. You guys what? Don't be afraid, he's just a lunatic, no one will believe his words. Leng Ruoxue consoled. You can leave the mountain now. Remember what I said, you can come to the outer part of the forest, but you are not allowed to enter the forest and these 3 mountains without my permission. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Leng Ruoxue warned again. Don't worry, Miss Leng. We know what to do. The moment Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, some forces immediately expressed their intentions to please her. After that, the other forces also followed suit. After seeing the fate of the Yao family, they didn't dare to not cooperate. After that, other than the Ning family and Qi family's teams, all the other forces left the Nightmare Forest dejectedly. The second elder of the Yao family was carried away by the people of the Yao family's subsidiary families. Young Lady Leng, aren't you afraid of bringing trouble to yourself by letting the Yao family's second elder leave like this? Qi Ri couldn't help but ask as he watched the forces leave. In his opinion, the second elder of the Yao family shouldn't have let him go at all. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. Someone will take care of him for me. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to personally take action. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly. Leng Ruoxue didn't think that the second elder of the Yao family would still be alive on his way back to the Yao family. So, even if she didn't kill him, those people who wanted to hit him when he was down wouldn't let him off. Since that was the case, why did she have to do something unnecessary? If the second elder of the Yao family really met with an accident on the road, then all the major forces would naturally become her accomplices in dealing with the Yao family. In this way, no one would dare to disclose what had happened here, unless they didn't want to live anymore. Because the Yao family would never let go of those who betrayed them. She believed that those major forces were not fools and would know what was the best choice for them. Qi Rui was speechless. It seemed like Leng Ruoxue had a backup plan. No wonder he wasn't worried about letting the tiger return to the mountain. When would he be able to be as calm as Leng Ruoxue? Alright, don't think so much. The second elder of the Yao family can't possibly return to the Yao family alive, and even if the Yao family wants to avenge their dead clansmen, it'll be very difficult to find an enemy. Leng Ruoxue replied with absolute certainty. As for how the Yao family's subsidiary families would tell their master about this, that was not within her scope of consideration. Then I'm relieved. Qi Rui sighed and said helplessly. It seemed that this was the difference between people. You don't have to be so sad, let's go. Come with me to take a look at our new home. Leng Ruoxue looked at Qi Rui's depressed expression and couldn't help but laugh. Alright, he said. Qi Rui nodded. Following that, the Qi family and the Ning family followed Leng Ruoxue and the rest into the Leng family's main residence. After taking a look around, Ning Fei and Qi Rui were full of admiration for the layout of the house. They were even a little envious because in their eyes, Leng Ruoxue and the others really knew how to enjoy life. Not only was the spiritual qi in the house surprisingly rich, but it was also warm in winter and cool in summer. The scenery was beautiful, which was absolutely refreshing. Chapter 12:15 Entering the Inner Forest 1. Miss Ling, why do you want to build a territory in the Nightmare Forest? Qi Rui asked curiously. In his opinion, this forest was full of danger and was definitely not a good place to be a territory. This place is not bad. With mountains and water, it'll be easy to gain experience. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. However, there are many poisonous bees, scorpions, and giant spiders in the forest. Qi Rui couldn't help but remind him. The poisonous insects they had encountered in the forest not long ago were still fresh in his memory. Although he didn't know where those poisonous insects suddenly appeared and then disappeared without a trace, the sense of danger in the forest had been deeply rooted in his heart. So, if it were him, he would definitely not choose this place as his territory. Otherwise, those poisonous insects would come and harass him from time to time. No one would be able to stand it. The poisonous insects in the forest will not attack people unless they are provoked. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly and added in her heart, with the exception of certain people. Could it be that they were attacked before because someone provoked those poisonous insects? Qi Rui said with a puzzled expression. This matter was so strange that he couldn't understand it no matter how much he thought about it. Why did those poisonous insects attack so many forces but not the Qi and Ning families? It's very possible. Oh, I've arranged a place for you to stay. You can stay here for a few days before going back. Leng Ruoxue changed the topic. Alright, he said. Ning Fei and Qi Rui nodded in agreement. Then, Leng Ruoxue arranged for Feng De to take them to their respective residences. However, Ning Fei stayed where he was and looked at her as if he wanted to say something. Master Ning, is there anything else you need? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be confused, but she was laughing in her heart. This Ning Fei is acting reserved too, hee. It was a weird feeling to see a grown man acting all coy in front of her. Miss Leng, I would like to meet the old ancestor. Ning Fei mustered up his courage and said. He knew that his request was a little abrupt. Not everyone could see the ancestor whenever they wanted to. Even in the main family, it was not easy for the younger generation to see the ancestor. However, he still wanted to try his luck, but he did not dare to have too much hope. Master Ning, I can understand what you're thinking, but it's not up to me whether Godfather wants to see you or not, but I can help you pass on the message. Leng Ruoxue said softly. Then I'll thank Miss Leng first. I'll take my leave first. Ning Fei turned around and left. Looking at Ning Fei's back, the evil man pulled Shui into his arms and teased, Shui, you're so bad. Letting old man Ning meet a junior of the family is just a matter of a word from you, but you just have to keep us in suspense. You're right. As long as I ask, my godfather will definitely meet Ning Fei for my sake. However, that's why I can't ask him. If my godfather really wants to meet the Ning family, I wouldn't have to say it. Leng Ruoxue explained indifferently. As the saying goes, one should not impose on others what one did not want others to do to them. Therefore, she would not use her godfather's love as some capital to show off, and she would not interfere with the Ning family's internal affairs. It's old man Ning's fortune to have you as his goddaughter. The demon said with a doting expression. Reading on Maibo Snow Vel Calm, please. Evildoer, now that the major forces' affairs have been basically resolved, let's go to the inner part of the forest when we have time. Suemo said. Leng Ruoxue suggested. Due to the urgency of the situation, the various major factions responded to her call and moved. Hence, Feng De and the rest had only swept through the outer perimeter. As for the deeper parts of the forest, they had yet to go in. Hence, she wanted to go in and take a look personally. All right, but we'll have to wait until the Ning and Qi family leave. The demon said. Yes, we'll go after they leave. Leng Ruoxue nodded. After that, the Nings and the Qi family stayed in Master Leng's house for almost 5 days. During this time, Master Ning even went to see Ning Fei. After that, Ning Fei was stunned. No one knew what Master Ning and Ning Fei talked about, but Ning Fei was more respectful to Leng Ruoxue. After sending off the people from the Ning and Qi families, Leng Ruoxue and the rest set off towards the depths of the forest. As they walked into the depths of the forest, Leng Ruoxue and the rest collected herbs from the side of the road. As there weren't many teams that dared to venture into the depths of the forest, there were unusually many herbs in the forest. Although many of them were ordinary herbs, the consumption of ordinary herbs was much greater than precious herbs when refining pills. Therefore, they would not let go of any herbs they saw. Master Ning frowned as he watched Leng Ruoxue and the rest gather herbs as they walked. He could not help but ask, Shui, if we follow this path, when can we reach the deepest part? He had never been to the deepest part of the Nightmare Forest, so he was really curious about what he would find there. Therefore he followed them. However, according to the way these little guys were walking, it would be difficult for them to reach the depths before dark. Godfather, what's the hurry? We're not in a hurry. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. She would feel uncomfortable if she didn't pick the herbs. Could this be the so-called occupational disease? And her subordinates were infected by her, clearly also caught this occupational disease. It is. You damned old man, what's the rush? How could a fellow like you, who doesn't know how to refine tools or refine pills, understand our feelings when we see the materials? Girl, ignore him, let's slowly pick and dig. After the first elder yelled at Master Ning, he turned to Leng Ruoxue and smiled. There were not only herbs on the way but also a lot of ordinary ores, which were also necessary for those who wanted to refine weapons. That was why he supported Leng Ruoxue and the others' actions. He even thought that as a qualified blacksmith, this was how they should be. All right. Seeing that the two old men were about to start a fight again, Leng Ruoxue chuckled and replied. These two men were just like her grandfather and the rest. They never stopped quarreling. However, the more they quarreled, the better their relationship was. You old thing, you only know how to bully me, woo. Master Ning's face was full of grievances, and his eyes were filled with tears as he pretended to be pitiful. However, his pitiful appearance was completely ignored by everyone. Chapter 12:16. Entering the inner forest, 2, Leng Ruoxue and the rest glanced at him, then bent down to continue gathering the herbs on the ground. First elder and the rest were focused on digging the ores on the ground. The subordinates of Master Ning looked at their master with sympathy and couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. It seemed that the family head didn't have much status among these people. Otherwise, Why would he always be bullied? If this was the Ning family, who would dare to treat the master like this? However, they only dared to think about it in their hearts. If they really felt injustice for their master and said something that they shouldn't say, the master would definitely not let them off. The clan head had a heart of being abused. After getting along for so long, they were very clear about it. In fact, it was very difficult for them to understand the thoughts of the master of the Ning family with their status. After all, no matter how high the status of the master of the Ning family was, he was just a person. He also needed family love, warmth, and care, but no one in the Ning family could give him that. To put it bluntly, the younger generation of the Ning family could not treat him as an ordinary old man. In the eyes of the Ning family, his status was unattainable and supreme. He was the ancestor of all the Ning family, so they did not dare to show any disrespect to Master Ning. This was also the main reason why Master Ning was not in a hurry to return to the Ning family, and instead chose to hang out with Lung Ruoxue and the rest. "You're really too much. No one coaxed me, Wu." Seeing that no one was paying attention, Master Ning continued to complain. "Godfather, don't pretend to be pitiful. I'll make you something delicious tonight." Lung Ruoxue sighed and said helplessly, "Yes, yes." Master Ning nodded happily, then looked at the first elder provocatively and said proudly, "Damn old man, it's my goddaughter who cares about me. You should learn. Your goddaughter is my god-granddaughter, so you're considered my junior. What's there to be proud of?" The grand elder retorted with disdain. "Old man, don't lie to me. Little Xue is not your god-granddaughter. Besides, I'm not afraid even if it's me. Let's talk about our own matters. In short, don't even think about taking advantage of me." Seeing that someone was quarreling with him, Master Ning's spirit rose again. "Old thing, you can be proud. You'll be crying sooner or later." The great elder rolled his eyes at Master Ning, and then lowered his head to dig the ore again. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him again, Master Ning began to feel bored. Seeing Master Ning like this, his subordinates all felt helpless, but they couldn't do anything. After all, they were not the great elder and didn't have the guts to argue with Master Ning. Lung Ruoxue and the rest walked as they gathered. By the time they entered the depths of the forest, it was already evening. They found a clean and spacious place, and Lung Ruoxue took out the house that first elder had given her. She placed it on the ground and the group entered the house. Old thing, this house you made is really not bad. We've already agreed on this. I'll provide the materials, and you'll give me the essence qi to help me refine one." Master Ning, who was looking around in the courtyard, reminded him. "You can't be left out." The first elder said helplessly. It was all his fault. Why did he have to give the girl this house in front of this old thing? Now, he had been targeted by this damn thing. Reading on Maibo Snow Velcom, please. "Then when will you make it for me?" The master of the Ning family asked anxiously. "What's the hurry? Have you prepared the materials?" The great elder rolled his eyes at Master Ning. "I've already sent someone to prepare it. It won't be long before the materials are sent to me." Master Ning said quickly. "Then we'll talk when you bring the materials." The head elder said unhappily. As long as he thought of the origin breath he was going to give out, his heart would ache a little. Origin breath was extremely hard to come by. "Yes, yes." Master Ning nodded. From the corner of his eye, he saw Lung Ruoxue and the others preparing dinner at the other side of the courtyard. He could not help but ask curiously, "Girl, what are we having for dinner?" "You'll know when the time comes." Lung Ruoxue kept them in suspense. Actually, she didn't know what they wanted to eat for dinner, so she prepared everything for everyone to choose. It was like a buffet. "Oh." Master Ning looked at Lung Ruoxue, feeling wronged. He complained in his heart. "You bad girl. She knew that I wanted to know, but she still kept me in suspense." Hee. "Godfather, great elder, it's time to eat." Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she spoke to the two of them. "Arg, so fast?" Master Ning looked at the table in confusion. The table was empty, and there was nothing there. What were they supposed to eat? Moreover, the fish in the hands of Feng De and the others didn't seem to be cooked. He couldn't be thinking of letting them eat raw fish, right? You two find a place to sit first, the food will be here soon. Just as Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, Feng De and the rest served the fish that they had packed. Girl, do you really want us to eat raw fish? I'm not the second elder of the Yao family, I don't eat raw food. Master Ning said with a face full of fear. As long as he thought of how the second elder of the Yao family had eaten so much raw meat, his scalp would go numb. These bad guys' ability to trick people was really too much to catch up to. Master Ning, don't be afraid. This fish is different from the raw meat that the second elder of the Yao family eats. It's called raw fish slices and very delicious. If it weren't for you two, we wouldn't have been willing to make it for others to eat. Feng De said with a smile, and his words made the two old men smile. Kid, you really know how to talk. The great elder complimented him with a smile. Shweta, your subordinates are all eloquent, unlike my stupid subordinates. It's like a mouse seeing a cat when it sees me, it's very boring. Master Ning also said with envy. However, his subordinates who were not far away heard Master's evaluation of them felt wronged in their hearts. Although they didn't dare to be rude to Master, they weren't at the point of a mouse seeing a cat. Godfather, let's eat. Lung Ruoxue sneaked a glance at the Ning family's subordinates, who had hidden bitterness in their eyes. She was so embarrassed that she didn't know what to say, so she could only change the topic. All right, he said. Master Ning and the great elder nodded, and the dishes were served one by one. The two looked at the rich variety of dishes, and without waiting for the others to serve, they began to eat first, praising as they ate. Chapter 12:17. Entering the Inner Forest. 3. Leng Ruoxue looked at the two of them wolfing down the food and was speechless. It was just a meal. Was there a need to act as if he hadn't eaten in 800 years? If people who didn't know saw them like this, wouldn't they think that he had abused them? She didn't remember not having them eat or drink. How could it be like this? In fact, it wasn't just her. Even Master Ning's subordinates felt a little embarrassed when they saw their master like this. After all, what good things didn't the Ning family have? Even the head of the family had never been so gluttonous as he was here, although they had to admit that the food made by others was indeed more delicious than their own. Why aren't you guys eating? After eating for a while, Master Ning raised his head and found that everyone was looking at them. He couldn't help but ask in confusion. He really didn't know what these people were thinking when they didn't eat such delicious food. He couldn't help sighing in his heart. At this time, he would never have thought that everyone was actually frightened by the wind and cloud remnants when he and the great elder ate. You guys have already finished it, what else can we eat? Lu Feng couldn't bear it anymore and roared. These two old things were really too much. They actually ate almost all the food on the table. What interest did they have when they saw the remaining leftovers? I'm sorry. We thought you guys were eating too. Master Ning and the great elder looked at the remaining dishes on the table and pretended to be embarrassed. However, they didn't stop stuffing food into their mouths. Seeing them like this, everyone was speechless. It doesn't matter, let's get more. Lung Ruoxue tried to smooth things over. She didn't want these people to fight over a meal. Looking at Lu Feng's angry face, she didn't doubt this possibility at all. Good. Quickly make some more, I'm not full yet. Master Ning quickly agreed upon hearing Lung Ruoxue's words. You're not full yet? Are you a pig? Hearing Master Ning's shameless words, Lu Feng couldn't help but curse. Brat, you dare to call me a pig? Do you really think that I won't dare to beat you up? Master Ning said angrily. Old man Ning, he even dared to scold me, what are you? The first elder lifted his eyelids and said calmly. That's because you didn't discipline him well, Humph. There's no one in the Ning family who dares to scold me. Master Ning shouted with a proud face. None of your descendants would dare to scold you to your face. They only do it behind your back. The first elder said. You old thing, do you have to go against me? Master Ning's eyes were wide open as he shouted. AI. It can't be helped, it's my hobby. The first elder sighed as he helplessly said. Lung Ruoxue was speechless when she saw the two old men arguing over a meal. She gave Feng De and the rest a look and they left the place quietly, leaving the place to these two old men who did not respect them. Reading on Maibo Snow Vel Com, please. Master Ning and the first elders saw Lung Ruoxue and the others leave from the corner of their eyes. They could not help but look at each other and smile. Then they continued eating. Little fox, why did you leave that place for them? You don't understand those two old things. They clearly quarreled on purpose. Now that their goal has been achieved, I'm afraid they're eating happily. Lu Feng grumbled. After knowing them for so many years, he understood the nature of those two old men too well. In fact, he was right. Master Ning and the great elder were unscrupulous in order to occupy the remaining food. Although they were leftovers in the eyes of Lu Feng and the others, the two old men would not let them go. It doesn't matter. If they like it, then let them eat. Let's go and eat something more delicious. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. How could she not guess what the two old men were thinking? The reason why she had brought everyone away so quickly was to let the two of them know that they would regret it so much that their intestines would turn green. There's something even more delicious? Lu Feng's eyes widened as he asked in disbelief. Of course, hee. You guys are in for a treat. Feng De kept him in suspense. What is it? Mo Yen also asked curiously. You'll know in a while. Lung Ruoxue brought them to the dining room. Then, she took out a few big fish that were still alive and kicking from her bracelet and placed them on the table. What fish is this? She's pretty. Lu Feng looked at the huge fish in front of him and asked curiously. This is called silver snowfish. It can only be found on the Haotian continent. Lung Ruoxue explained. Oh. Lu Feng nodded his head, but he couldn't help but think to himself, isn't it just a few fish? How good could it be? However, when he ate the silver snowfish, he realized that he had lived in vain for so many years. He didn't know that the fish meat would be so fresh and delicious. He was so excited that he almost bit off his tongue. After Lung Ruoxue and the rest finished their dinner, Master Ning and the first elder came looking for them. However, when they saw the strange looks from the crowd, the two old men were puzzled. What was going on? Lu Feng's face was actually filled with sympathy. Did they miss something? Master Ning and the great elder secretly guessed. You little brat, what's with that look? After a long while, Master Ning finally couldn't help but ask. Nothing. I just wanted to ask if the food was good. Lu Feng said with a light smile. Of course it's delicious, Sai. I'm sorry. We couldn't control it, so we didn't leave any for you. Master Ning said apologetically. It's fine. Lu Feng said nonchalantly hee. If they hadn't eaten all the vegetables, he probably wouldn't have been able to eat such delicious fish. He heard from Feng De that the little fox didn't allow them to eat that kind of fish. You brat, you've changed. I thought you'd continue to scold me. Master Ning said with a smile, as if he had just met Lu Feng today. I don't scold people easily. Lu Feng said indifferently. You little brat. What do you mean by that? What did he mean by not scolding people easily? Am I not a human? The more Master Ning heard these words, the more wrong they seemed, and he couldn't help but ask. It doesn't mean anything. I'm so full, I'm going to sleep. Lu Feng stretched lazily, then stood up and left the dining room. We're going to sleep too. Lung Ruoxue stood up and said. In the blink of an eye, only the great elder and Master Ning were left in the dining room. Where are we going? Master Ning asked dumbly, thinking in his heart, these guys left too quickly. Could it be that there was something shameful going on? Of course I'm going to sleep. It's getting late. I still have to continue mining tomorrow. After the great elder finished speaking, he left Master Ning behind and left alone. Mining? You only know how to mine. Master Ning complained to himself. As soon as he heard about mining, he knew that tomorrow's speed would not be fast. Just as he had expected, after they set off the next day, Lung Ruoxue and the rest placed all their attention on picking herbs again. The great elder naturally had his eyes on his oars. Only Master Ning had nothing to do, and could only stare at his unlikable subordinate. He wanted to help pick herbs, but little Shui, or said that he only picked grass and asked him to help the great elder dig the ore. He went to help the great elder and the others dig the ore, but that damned old man actually said that he was clumsy and in the way. He was really angry. Lung Ruoxue could not help but find it funny when she saw Master Ning glaring at them from the side. Why was this old man acting like a child? He was even throwing a tantrum. Godfather, we're almost done digging. We can continue. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Then let's go. Master Ning was a little impatient. It had been 2 days and they had only walked so little. So, when would they be able to enter the deepest part of the forest? Let's go. Lung Ruoxue nodded and the group continued on their journey. After walking in the forest for 5 days, Lung Ruoxue and the rest finally arrived at the deepest part of the forest. The depths of the forest were usually called the inner regions, and Lung Ruoxue and the others were heading to the deepest part of the inner regions. Lung Ruoxue and the rest were amazed as they looked at the dense giant tree in front of them. As expected of a tree from the immortal realm, it could actually grow to such a huge size. It would probably take dozens of people to surround it. Go! Let's quickly go in and take a look. Master Ning urged. After walking for 5 days, they had finally arrived. He was looking forward to it. Go in. Lung Ruoxue looked at Master Ning's anxious face with amusement as she said to the crowd. Everyone, be careful and stay safe. Lung Ruoxue reminded. The crowd nodded and walked in. In the deepest part of the inner regions, other than being covered by countless giant trees, there were also many high-level beasts. The places that Lung Ruoxue and the rest passed by were filled with countless herbs and ores. The crowd was envious. Even Master Ning, who was not interested in herbs and ores, was shocked. However, when he thought about how these people were going to start picking herbs and mining, he felt depressed again. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.